Insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASC Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASC.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Katie Britt is co-sponsoring the Laken-Riley Act within the U.S. Senate, along with North Carolina Senator Ted Budd. The bill was already introduced and passed into the U.S. House by Congressman Mike Collins of Georgia. The Laken-Riley Act would require U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents to arrest illegal aliens who commit crimes of theft, larceny, and burglary, and would require ICE to detain them. The legislation also allows for states to take action against federal agencies should they choose to not enforce the immigration laws that are on the books. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
The attorney for a judge in Florence is challenging a perjury charge against his client. Lauderdale County Circuit Judge Gil Self was indicted with 18 criminal counts back in January of this year. Now Self's attorney has filed a motion about the one charge of perjury, asking for prosecutors to provide specific parts of the judge's testimony where the perjury occurred. This case is being prosecuted by the Alabama Attorney General's office and has to do with the judge using court system money for personal travel. 6 small stray dogs were captured after being seen on Fort Morgan Road within traffic. The 6 dogs were not found to have microchips, so no owners have been located. Angie's Doghouse is now working to find homes for 4 of those dogs. 2 have already been placed with members of the Gulf Shores Police Department. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Thompson Tractor is the go-to source for a complete range of the best equipment for your next construction project. Thompson Tractor also has the trusted parts and expert service you've come to expect for more than 65 years, all of which keeps your business up and running so you can focus on the work you do. And now is a great time to get the compact equipment you need, because right now, there's financing starting at 0% for 36 months on any Cat compact equipment, including skid steers and mini excavators. These machines don't sit around for long, but no worries. If it's not here, we can pull from one of our other 16 locations in Alabama and Northwest Florida. And hey, if you're not ready to buy, Thompson Rents is here so you can rent what you need. So visit ThompsonTractor.com for all the details and for the location nearest you. Thompson Tractor and Thompson Rents. We're here for you.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie is in the studio with me. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Joe?
Doing all right. And as, well, we were saying earlier in the week, we have right across the desk from me, he is the minority leader in the State House of Representatives, first African-American, youngest, I believe, too, and also running for Congress. We have Anthony Daniels here in the studio. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for being on. So the first question I ask everybody, whether they're running for mayor, city council, I'd ask somebody running for president, why do this to yourself?
Well, it's necessary. You know, I'm from Midway, Alabama, in Bullock County, raised primarily by my grandparents. And so, you know, growing up, hard work and understanding faith and hard work, you know, that was things that were instilled in me as a young man. But seeing the difficulties and seeing the challenges that people in Bullock County and other counties face growing up, and those challenges are still in existence today, and so some ask, if not, then, why not me?
Right.
I've been able to navigate the political waters here in Alabama in the Republican supermajority legislature, and being able to build alliances with people on issues where there's common ground to help the people that I was raised around, as well as the ones that are in my district. And so Washington, D.C. is no different. I want to be able to bring community to the chaos that I see that in existence at the federal level. And then I want to restore the confidence in the people that, hey, we may be in different parties, but at the end of the day, the R and the D doesn't matter. It's the A, Alabama. And making sure that constituents, because when you're elected as a representative, you got to represent everyone. Now, I'm not going to compromise my principle or my beliefs on what I feel strongly in, but I will work to identify some areas of common ground that yields the returns that all of us want. And so that's the difference between me and anyone else running, is that I have the track record of working across the aisle. I have the track record of deliverables, cutting taxes, making certain that we're focusing on things that have outcomes that's beneficial to the Alabama in general. And so I have the receipts, and there's no one else that has the receipts that I have in difficult times.
Well, and both Eddie and Eddie, I think more than me, because he's actually lived that life when he worked at Hyundai all those years. You proposing getting rid of the tax on overtime, we were all for it. We thought it was just 100%. A great idea.
You become my hero.
Yeah. Telling you. How much overtime do you show?
Out at plants like that, but at Hyundai, 55 to 60% of your income is overtime. Right.
So to remove that 5% tax was a heck of a thing, and we
my hero.
Love that idea. And I'm looking through a lot of the policies you propose. You are coming up with the ideas that I think anybody with common sense would go, yeah, that's about right.
Thank you. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I have a bill that I propose that deals with childcare. Allowing companies to be able to build a child care facility on site and get some dollars from the construction side, about up to $1 million on the construction costs. But at the same time, I want them to be able to give that money to their employees to either partner with a provider to offer that service if they don't build it on site, or their employees get to go to that on site, their employees' children get to go to that on site facility at no charge. Right. And so this helps not only the business, it's helped them with it helps the state in increasing the actual participation rate, but it also helped the family in reducing their overall burdens that they have from a financial standpoint, and put more money in their pockets. Right. So that's where I am, putting more money in people's pocket. They work hard for the money that they earn, and they should be rewarded. And that's all I'm trying to do.
Amen. And now just a little more biography. So you're raised in this area, as you said, Midway. It's about an hour, I guess, from here. Mm-hmm. And wife and kids?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 2 daughters and a son. My oldest daughter name is Madison. My youngest daughter, who's 7, Madison's 13. Abigail is 7, and Anthony is 5.
And with the Huntsville connection, how did you end up in Huntsville?
College. I went to college in Huntsville. I was a lot of folks around this area, part of the state, and nationally know me as AD. I was a really good basketball player. I was a point guard, 6'3" point guard, and started on the varsity as a freshman in Bullock County, but also played AAU basketball with teammates like Amari Stoudemire, and I were teammates. And I was a point guard for that team. And so they built a team around my age group, because the other teams that I was playing for were much older than I was, but I was able to compete with them. And so someone that's almost the tallest person on your team, a 6'3" point guard since 7th grade, but I tore my ACL in football. I was also a tailback. I was a tailback. Oh, wow. And a 38 toss cost me my athletic career.
Yeah, they hit you on the side or something like that?
No, it was raining, and it was supposed to rain, and they put in rain cleats on the bottom of my cleats. Well, it ended up not raining.
Oh, too much traction.
They didn't change them out. And so it cost me a career, but I will tell you, by the grace of God, I was able to transition to doing something like what I'm doing today to be able to help people. And that's what it's about, being able to make that transition, regardless of the difficulties that you have in your life, regardless of the obstacles that you have to try to overcome. There always another way to arrive at the same point. And the point for me was, I thought athletics was my ticket out of the community to give back to the community that had given me so much.
Right.
I remember a lot of folks say, you're too young to know about these things. Well, at 12 o'clock on Friday, the Rolling Store would come around my community. And that was like the highlight of my day, of my week, is being able to be able to go and barter eggs in exchange for goods with my grandmother, but also being able to get that orangeade is what I was most interested in.
It's good. Well, and now let's look big picture, because if you do get elected, you'll be joining a big team up there, as everybody is. So what do you think are the top 3 issues facing the nation right now?
I think for me, particularly, we know that there are a lot of challenges with a lot of the international community, and making certain that we're building alliances there, and that we're supporting our friends, and we're supporting them to the highest level possible, and understanding that our allies are our allies, and trying to figure out ways to be of assistance to them. We see that the challenges that they're facing in a number of countries. One of the things I would tell you, knowing that in Pike County, that Lockheed Martin plant is the plant that builds the Javelin rocket that's sent to Ukraine. And so anyone that's interested in cutting defense spending is really not paying attention to how that spending in our particular district matters, getting those resources. So the defense budget is something I'm very interested in, because there are about 5 military bases that are in or in proximity to this district, 2nd Congressional District. And understanding the uniqueness of all of those particular military bases, and driving growth and opportunity. We've seen in Redstone Arsenal what the Department of Defense emphasis, Department of Defense have done to the community in the Huntsville area. Well, why can't we do that in Montgomery? Why can't we do that in Russell County? Why can't we do that in Pike County? Why can't we do it in the Mobile area? We can. So you got to focus your attention on things that are going to drive growth in the region. And so partnering on the housing front, military installations have a lot of land. Why aren't we looking at a partnership for some affordable workforce housing? Housing opportunities of maybe moving the gate back some, and having the military donate a certain portion of land to the city and county, right? I mean, to the city in particular, because this military base sits in the city, that Maxwell and Gunn are here. And so then you're able to then work with the military and a developer to purchase those products to build a homes through the military base, right? So then that way you lower the overhead, so that the affordability aspect, you're able to have workforce housing for folks that are going into, whether it's teaching, whether it's city employees, county employees, whether it's folks that are in healthcare field, other fields that we critically need, but those salaries are not enough for them to be able to sustain living long term in this particular region. And so we have to do that. Education. For me, my background is education. And so for me, the investments in education, we know that every dollar that's invested in early childhood saves you $7 in corrections. And if we know that, because we've not placed an emphasis on a mixed delivery system, working with churches, working with daycares from birth to pre-K, making investments, drawing down on dollars to make investments to build that infrastructure, so that young person, that young family has a chance at being able to live the American dream right here in Alabama. And their opportunities are endless. It increases their likelihood of being productive citizens in this country.
Right. And so military, education, what would be number 3?
Good paying jobs, making certain that, and it goes with the first one with the military. The military piece, I see a way I'll add on to that, to leverage defense contractors, attracting some of the workforce and opportunities for them to expand their companies to this region, to the Montgomery area. If you're doing business at Maxwell, if you're doing business at Gunner, if you're doing business at Fort Benning or which is Fort Moore now, or Fort Rucker, which is Fort Novosel, if you're doing business at those particular military bases, we want to attract you to, if you're expanding, we want you to be in our area. We want you to move to our area. We want to also encourage startups to be able to do business with the government. We want to change or add on to the things that are going on Maxwell Air Force Base. We know about the training in the workhouse. We know about all that. let's add some other things that's going to drive growth to the region, where small businesses can bid on government contracts. They can do the T-shirts for the military. They can do other things to support, because it drives growth and wealth to the entire region and opportunity, and it also drives down costs for folks in the region that may, their salaries may be adequate for living, but when you see the inflation and you see all of the costs going up, you can't. Companies increasing salaries are going to put themselves out of business or have to cut on the workforce. Right. So let's figure out a way to partner and work with them to drive down some of those costs by getting them opportunities on the military basis. Of if you're a T-shirt shop or a bakery, let's figure out ways to get you a military contracts on the military base. Let's expand those other services, and then let's find a sweet spot. The sweet spot may be cyber. If cyber is a sweet spot, let's make those investments in cyber right here in this region. Work with your work with the mayor, work with the county commissioners, work with all of your school board members, everyone, where we're working together and building a strategic plan on how to move the region forward. We got to have regionalism. We just cannot isolate one community saying, I want to do it this way, or one branch of one entity within the government saying, we want to do it this way, that way. Let's do what's going to make sense for the region, for the people to continue to grow, prosper, and have opportunities long term. That's what I'm about.
Well, and the growth in Huntsville is undeniable. I just watched, it was about an hour-long YouTube video, a guy who's doing a tour of Alabama, and he was shown by one of the German immigrants' grandsons all around Huntsville, and it's just undeniable, the growth of that place. I know there was a little bit of in the 70s, 80s, after the 60s, everything's closed down from the space program. It's really come back, and it's now a central nerve of the federal government, I'd imagine, up there. This is a quick throwaway. Do you ever get into the whole Operation Paperclip conversations with folks up there?
I don't.
Yeah, it can be a little contentious, but I think it's a weird part of our history for sure. So you are now in the runoff. And again, folks, we're talking to Anthony Daniels. He is running for the Democratic nomination here in District 2, Congressional District 2, newly created District 2. Why you in particular over Mr. Figure?
Well, here's the difference. The difference is that I've been in Alabama, living in Alabama practically all of my life. I didn't just move back to Alabama to run for a seat. I've worked in Alabama. I have the receipts to show, whether it's eliminating the income tax on overtime pay, that was thought of by me, that was executed by me, and that was signed into law. I also have increased the number of classrooms for early childhood. Knowing, as I mentioned before, every dollar invested in pre-K, stages 7 and corrections, I've increased the number of classrooms in the places, pre-K classrooms, in the places that they need to be from an infrastructure standpoint. I've also owned the Innovation Corporation. I'm a board member for the Innovation Corporation that's distributing millions of dollars to start up businesses within the region and within the state of Alabama. I've helped other legislators with projects in their district, whether it's working with Representative Lawrence on the water and sewer for Lowndes County, or whether it's working with Representative Chestnut on rebuilding the schools after the tornadoes in Dallas County, or whether it's working with Representative Ford on making certain that resources, we have robotics program opportunities for robotics programs and other resources for Bullock, Macon, Barber, and Russell areas, and Representative Warren on the growth of the region in the Tuskegee, Lee County area, or whether it's working with Representative Drummond and standing with the entire Mobile delegation against the rest of the state to ensure that Mobile County are able to keep those dollars from the BP oil spill money. I stood up for that. And so as the minority leader, I've helped people run for office, and I've also delivered. And there's no evidence of any deliverables, not even I don't even know that there's a community service project that my opponent has done in the last 10 to 20 years in the state of Alabama. And so for me, if we are to set a precedent that outside interests gets paid almost $2 million to buy a seat in Alabama, I will say to the city council or the mayor in any town in Alabama, the sheriff in any town, if they're trying to do that in Congress, what do you think they'll try to do in the state house? What do you think they'll try to do in local government? We cannot allow out-of-state interests to spend money to buy a seat in Alabama. It is time for the people of Alabama. I worked too hard to even create this district, to allow some out-of-state entity to come in and take this district away from us. And so the voters of Alabama gotta have to understand that working for a politician is different than being one. And having the track record and the receipts to show that, that's important. The question has to be, what have you done for Alabama? We're not talking about mom and dad. Let me say this. I was raised by my grandparents. They were sharecroppers till 1978, okay? My mother was a sharecropper. But the hard work ethic that they've taught me growing up is instilled in me today. So you may not know my grandparents' name. You know, where other people had a silver spoon or gold spoon, hell, I didn't even have a fork. So you talk about grabbing yourself up by your own bootstrap story. That's the American story for many of us. And so I don't have a family member that's in politics. I don't have anyone that's been in politics in my family. I've gotten these things done myself as a person, but it's because of the upbringing, the community that's given me so much that I'm here standing today. And my colleagues in the House, in the Senate that I worked alongside, they're the ones that's been pushing me to be a better me. And so they are like, it's like having parents everywhere you go, having family members everywhere you go. So my grandparents' spirit still lives in me because of what they taught me. There was nothing given to me. I was taught that every obstacle that's placed in front of you is an opportunity. And so nobody's giving Anthony Daniels anything. I worked hard for this. And I'm going to continue to work hard for the people of Alabama because they keep reelecting me. They have reelected me 3 times to the House of Representatives, elected me 3 times to the House of Representatives. And people I see across the state, said, thank you for what you're doing. Most recently, the IVF, where it's 6 days and there was no legislation introduced. I introduced legislation and started beating the streets on the IVF and how these families deserve to be able to bring life into this state. And and the ruling has interrupted that. We have to do something, and we have to do something fast. I don't see anyone else in the state that's running for office that stood up on that issue. I mean, so what I'm saying is I have the receipts. And the other piece is anybody that know me, my word is solid. If I tell you something is going to happen, otherwise I'll come back and tell you that I can't do it. And anybody in that chamber will know that I don't play political games. I'm going to be straight up with you. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and I'm going to make certain that we address it. But I don't do I'm for the district. I'm for District 2. I'm for Montgomery. I'm for all 13 counties. But more importantly, I'm for the state of Alabama and want to be able to work with a delegation to be able to bring resources back. You know, we talk about former Senator Shelby. Mm-hmm. What former Senator Shelby did, he delivered for this state. He delivered resources for this state. And so I want to be able to deliver resources for the state of Alabama. You know, we didn't know we didn't know where he slept his head at night, right? But we know what he did for us. So we have to make certain that all this jazz about, well, you moved in the district in October, but you didn't think about us before then. When we were dealing with the overcrowdedness in the prisons, the federal government has jurisdiction over making the Alabama prison system doing with the overcrowdedness and the conditions. Myron Thompson issued a ruling on that. But if you're advising the Attorney General of the United States, why do you advise him to come down and address this issue? Mm-hmm. If you're advising the Attorney General of the United States, let's look at all of these officer-involved shootings around the state of Alabama that are unresolved, where families don't know what's happened, right? To be able to balance the chaos that's in the fallout after those things. If you're advising the Attorney General of the United States of America, we hadn't had any intervention in that, or voting, or even redistricting. We fought on the front lines as legislators for this district. The all the groups that supported it, the LDF, all these groups, the Milliken case, all of the folks that fought for this, and including legislators. But if you're advising the Attorney General of the United States, why wasn't the Justice Department involved in creating this district? So I'm going to tell you this. For me, this is the playoffs. The regular season is over. Now it's time to get down to it's time to lower the hay for the cows to eat, and let's talk about what's real and what's not. And that's where we are right now.
Amen. Again, we're talking to Anthony Daniels. You can always go to anthony4alabama.com. That's anthony4alabama.com. For folks out there listening, if, say, somebody voted in the Republican primary, they cannot vote in the Democratic runoff, obviously. But if somebody sat out, just didn't vote this last time, they can vote in a runoff, right?
Absolutely. They can vote in a runoff for either party.
Okay.
But we certainly want you to vote in the Democratic runoff if you have not voted, because at the end of the day, we have to send someone to Washington, D.C. that have a proven track record of getting something done. And there's no proven track record with my opponent at all. I don't even know if my opponent had ever been a director of a department or managed a large team or any team. I'm a small business owner. I sign checks on the front. I'm a legislator. I'm a minority leader. I get things done in difficult situations. If I'm able to get these things done in a Republican supermajority, imagine what I can get done if the numbers are quite close or a Democratic majority.
Amen. And, I'd imagine if you and I had long conversations, whether on these airwaves or over a cocktail or something, we would find we have some probably deep ideological disagreements. And on a more practical level, maybe we do agree, have different perspectives on where we're at as a nation right now. But I have to say, I didn't hear you throwing ideological bombs today on this show. And in fact, I was told this is your general approach. You are looking for agreement. So I'll say with your approach, I'm in violent agreement with.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time today, sir. And if folks do want to get out there and support you, not just voting on the runoff day, but if they want to support your campaign, whether canvassing, getting out and meeting folks in the community, how can they do so?
They can do Anthony at anthonyforalabama.com. And we will, on our website, there's a sign up on the website at anthonyforalabama.com where you can sign up to volunteer for our campaign, to canvass, to make calls, to do text messaging, whatever it is that we have a lot of opportunities for you. We want to make certain that we don't allow a out-of-state PAC that spent about $2 million to try to buy our seat. We will not stand for anyone outside of Alabama buying our district.
Well, we got to hit a break. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
I'm with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. How was your anniversary sale, Dot?
It was just wonderful, and I want to thank everybody that came out. It was a great time. It meant so much to me for it to be 30 years, and y'all just came out and made my day.
Well, spring is almost here. Is Eastbrook ready?
We're beginning to get the patio tables and chairs out. We've got so much there, it's hard to put it into a minute commercial. You just got to come see what we got. You know, we've got 3 floors and 60,000 square feet. So just come see us, because we probably got a sale or two going, and our merchandise is pretty reasonable, I think. We don't charge a commission to the vendors, and so our prices are able to be a little bit less than some other places.
Give us those hours of operation.
Monday through Friday, 10 until 6. Saturday, 9 until 6. And Sunday is 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
So y'all come on by and see us. We'd love to have you.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. Why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They are draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do, because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, you're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WINNING for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code WINNING. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WINNING for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WINNING.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you have a comment or a question for Eddie and I. And I have to admit, I'm flying by the seat of my pants today a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had some stuff to do this morning, so we can have some fun. I really do appreciate Anthony Daniels stopping by, and the invitation is also open to his opponent, Shamari Figures. Yeah. And y'all know me, when I invite somebody on as a guest, they're a guest. And I'm more just trying to get more voices out there. These are the folks that might represent this new District 2.
True.
And all eyes are going to be on this, by the way. This is not going to be, us here at News Talk, AL.com, 1819, WSFA, and the Advertiser are covering this. This is going to be MSNBC.
Oh, sure.
This is going to be the New York Times. And probably a lot of other conservative voices out there, though I'd hesitate to say Fox News. Did I just say it? Oh, no. But get ready, because the general election, I think, is going to be one heck of a fight.
I believe you're right, Joe.
We are going to be awash in money, not
How do we
personally.
Get some of this money,
Yeah, I
though?
don't like
Is it one of those cash machines? Do we get to go by and just grab
I think it's kind of like you got to find the key to, it's like Scrooge McDuck. In fact, that's always been my dream, is to get a big old swimming pool full of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really have some fun with it.
Oh, boy. So I did that with cash one time.
You swam in cash?
I didn't swim in it, but we did a particular promotion that made a lot of single dollars.
Okay.
I think like 12,000 is what I came home
Did you
with.
take your clothes off or something?
No. But anyway, we had it in brown bags. And it's kind of always a dream to just lay the money on the bed. And
Actually, I think it's a good idea. We need to go someplace and start stripping, and the sign says, if you want us to stop, give us money.
Ooh, Joey, I like where you're thinking.
Right.
Well, we can become rich quick.
Right, yeah. Let's go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top, how you doing?
Well, I hope it's new money because...
True, Red Top. I learned that lesson that day.
Yeah.
So how'd you get the herpes?
Yeah, exactly. Learned that lesson that day.
And Starship launched today. Damn it! Did it make it into orbit, Joey?
I think so. It was mostly successful. One of the booster rockets was not retrieved successfully on re-entry, but it was largely a successful launch.
Okay. That's the main thing, because there's literally no news, not even on any of the major networks. Don't even show the damn launch of the greatest rocket ever built.
Maybe it has something to do with they don't like Elon.
They sure don't.
Because they're pumping up the Don Lemon interview with him. But, we can't showcase this incredible achievement that Elon's continuing to push forward.
Oh, yeah, just because of X. That's pretty much what it's all about. Now, it's too bad I was on hold the whole time this guy was on wanting to talk to him, because he is living in delusion. Alabama's so stuffed full of money coming into it, it doesn't know what to do with it. When he says investment, that means I already owe the government $100,000. Every time he says investment, that means I owe more money, because the money doesn't come from anywhere but the government. He is so damn delusional. And he didn't bring up the only two things that matter, buddy: the economy and immigration. He is in dreamland.
Well,
and
those arguments will definitely be had during the general election.
Well, I wish I could have talked to him about it. I wanted to see what he was going to do to lower the state taxes on food and gasoline.
I think he already was a big supporter of the grocery tax. Yeah.
Yeah, just talking to him a little bit off air with that, it surprised me that he does have some substantial plans. That surprised me. It's not just,
and it's not just plans; it's stuff he's done.
Yeah,
in the
things he's doing. Yeah.
Everything he talked about was just like Eve saying to Adam, "Come on, Adam, take a bite of this delicious apple." So these guys they live in a separate reality from the rest of us. No, we were not all born with a gold spoon or a silver spoon. None of us were born with a damn spoon in our mouth. We had to start all from the beginning. So part of this disadvantage crap too. Joey and I, you and I were born just the same as everybody else. We've all been working our whole life, right?
Sure.
Okay, so where's the advantage for me? He puts a lot of people in a class that does not exist. So I didn't.
Oh, I mean, come on. There are some people that start off with a better advantage than others.
I know, but that's no guarantee of success.
I agree. No, it takes hard work, and I think he's just talking about I came from humble beginnings. Look where I'm at now. And you said, it's like we're living in different realities. That's why I invited him. And I would love to have others on the show because, especially locally, we got to talk to one another.
Yeah, I hope he's going to come back and let me ask him some questions because he did not please the libertarian ear worth a damn. Thank you, bud. Roll Tide, go Trump.
See you, Red Top.
It's good to know Red Top is all in favor of the TikTok ban, too. 2729228. Oh, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe he's against it. I don't know. Though all sorts of conservative influencers are really mad at like Rand Paul and Mike Lee, and they're trying to tell Trump you got this one wrong in the TikTok ban. Like we got to get this done. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, they're only going to do it to foreigners.
Let me go
this sort of power they'll only use against foreigners. Isn't that what we heard with the Patriot Act?
Yeah, and Rumble's going to be next.
Yeah,
X is going to be after that, if not before. But if they're so worried about Chinese knowing what we're doing, what about that balloon or three that came floating by that they didn't give a rat's butt by?
Right.
We all know what this is, and it's important for people to call out for what it is. They're trying to do this so they can regulate the internet, and they can also, hey, we don't like this site, joeylive.com. We think it's anti-government. We think it's owned by the Chinese, and we're shutting it down.
Right.
And what can Joey do? Not a damn thing.
And everybody's making assurances. No, Eddie. That's not the case. This bill is sealed tight. It's airtight, baby.
I remember.
This is only going to affect TikTok.
These are same folks who told you, if you take the COVID vaccine, you won't get COVID. Remember, once they lie to you, they continue to lie.
And do you know what the alternate reality, if we're going to keep using that term, explanation of that was?
What's that?
I was watching Tucker Carlson talk to Chris Cuomo.
Dude, I've been watching clips of that interview. I'm going
to
watch
fascinating.
The human factor of those two. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, but part of me is like, is this the beginning of a gay porn?
Well, they were getting very friendly.
I was like, where are your wives?
And Chris did tell him, I want to crush your head.
Yeah, right. I'm like, whoa, dude, you're going to do deadlifts in front of them next? And you squat down there and get that weight up.
I did not think I would like one single clip of that. I've probably watched 20.
But Cuomo gave the alternate point of view on what you just said about the vaccines.
Yeah.
He's like, well, people were learning in real time about the science. It's like, no. We don't
do that. My life, your life is not a laboratory.
Right, and they were not learning in real time.
No, they were lying.
Lying
in real time.
And here's the kicker. The system's so corrupt that they don't even really know they're lying sometimes. Like, certainly the media folks, they think, like Chris Cuomo, the scientists have come up with the latest thing. But it's so baked into the cake of the pharmaceutical industry that they just see it as making money.
Yeah, I don't
And
care
we're
how
not
I do
doing
it.
anything
I
untoward.
don't care how I do it. I'm making money.
We're
That's all that
saving
matters.
lives.
Right. Dude, anything like that, any kind of, and I'll go as far back as the DARE program.
Right.
Look at the money that was wasted in that. The only people that made good money off that or made money off that were the folks selling the T-shirt and the bumper stickers.
Now, in a second, I've got a clip here of Tucker talking to Chris Cuomo, and it's actually about architecture. And Cuomo's like, architecture? How's postmodern architecture soul-crushing, Tucker? I'm like, go eat another meatball, Cuomo.
He's not in the mob. You're
right. So, in a second, we'll get to that because I think Tucker's answer actually, it's not even a political answer. I think it's just a genius answer. And it speaks to a philosophical thing I agree with. But before we do, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings.
That's right, Joe.
Now, this 50% off on 50% of the inventory for 50% of the month of March, it's over on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yes.
It's over Saturday.
The math adds up.
And they're going to be doing some renovations. If you go to the Instagram, you will see that, they've got some renovations ready to go. But they do have these amazing, dazzling offers still available. But it's in store until this Saturday only. Time is running out. And they, again, will be closed next week for renovation. So you got to get on top of it now, folks. Of course, you can't always go to Instagram or Facebook to see some of select items they have on sale. But there's nothing like stopping by, going to see Josh and Leslie Ryder in person. And bonus points to you if you say, happy birthday, Josh. Happy 50th birthday.
He looks good for 50, by the way.
He really does. He's an artist. He's a mad scientist. He's like a stud.
He's got nice skin. He takes care of himself.
So stop by Dillon Rings today. That's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. 119 Brown Springs Road, just off Atlanta Highway, right before you get to Taylor. It's kind of where the old Fun Zone used to be.
Right.
If you remember that. I certainly remember that. I worked there 2.5 years, or a tornado took it out. That's right. But be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey and Eddie on the radio sent you. So here is the clip that I was just mentioning. This is Tucker Carlson and Chris Cuomo. Talking about architecture, but I think Tucker has a remarkable point here.
The public spaces are beautiful. The architecture has not been degraded by postmodern, the oppression of
He's talking about being in Moscow.
Postmodern architecture, which is designed to demoralize and hurt you and destroy your spirit. I believe that because it's true.
You believe that postmodern architecture is designed to kill your spirit?
Of course. What's
Why?
the message of it? Well, look, anything that we make with our hands, it's the purest expression of our creativity. So there's a purpose behind everything that we make. And there's a message behind all of it, as there is in all art. You don't paint a painting with no vision behind it. You paint a painting because you're saying something. And so buildings that are warm and human and that elevate the human spirit are pro-human. And brutalism, for example, or the IMP glass boxes that crowd every city in the United States, those are not elevating. What's the message of working in a cube in a room with a synthetic drop ceiling and drywall on the walls and fluorescent lighting ahead of you and no privacy at all? What's the message? The message is really clear. You mean nothing. You are replaceable. You are a widget in a bin awaiting assembly. You're just a cog in a machine. You have no value. And everyone kind of ignores this like, oh, well, that's the way buildings have always been. No, that's not true. And architecture and anything made by human hands is the purest expression of the society that produced it. So we were like, oh, they're handicrafts. No, they're not handicrafts. They're a visible and tangible sign of who you are, not just as a person, but corporately as a society. And if you live in a place that creates nothing beautiful and doesn't provide people uplifting buildings to live and work in, that's a very sick and dark society. And it wasn't always that way. The public...
Do you think Cuomo was convinced by all that?
I gotta be honest. Tucker did great. I didn't see that clip before, so Tucker did a wonderful job. But I know that look that Cuomo's got because I've given you that look. I don't know how many times. I'm just like, what in the hell is this guy talking about?
Right.
I thought we were talking about something else.
No, I thought it was amazing.
But I really, with Tucker, and that whole interview's been good. But with Tucker, I totally get that, and he really did Fisher Price it down. Something made with your hand is the purest form.
Well, and everything seems to be built to be replaceable too. Now,
Especially here in the
It
US.
is amazing. Recently being in Boston, The skyline's amazing, but some of its old buildings that really look remarkable,
Right.
some are these glass boxes. And one thing that's happening is that those are soon going to be, if they aren't already, ghost towns.
Yes, they are.
Nobody's
Joey.
going into the office.
Yep. Big
So,
change. And it's
something's got to give here.
It's going to. But what really, like I said, what he said there was so true about building it with your hands is it's the purest form. But here in the United States, we got away from that. Now we build things on the cheap, not for longevity, but because I need it right now.
Right.
And just look at our housing, look at new buildings that are going up. They don't have the character that they used to have.
And I think it's all goes back to the debasement of our money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't hold value in
There you
money,
go. I got to hurry up and build this. Got
why
to build it on
a-
the cheap.
And
because,
also, why sink a bunch of money into a thing that's going to last 100, 200 years, if not longer, when
I can make my money quicker off of,
It's all about the quick financialization
quick
and
turnaround.
interest rates.
Yep.
It's just, I think it has affected so much
It has.
of our societies.
But how much of society, even now, I mean, this is opening up to me. How many people in society are aware of this? Actually acutely aware of what's going on.
I don't think people are acutely aware. I think there are folks that have an uneasy feeling in the back of their head, like
Don't know why.
something's, but they don't really know why. Or they have kids and they don't have any time to think about
that-
anything but the kids.
You know, that's another thing. Thinking back and just a working class family, you are so focused on just getting to work, getting the kids fed, getting them into school. I hate it because we turn our backs on political thinking. They got our best. I voted for the guy. I voted for the guy. She has my best interest in mind. And they hadn't had our best interest in mind in I don't know how long. And even for me to look back, I mean, I buried my face in work for the last 40 years. To look back, my politicians screwed me over. I'm pissed.
You're like the voice of a generation.
New Coke?
Ugh. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking more like Boats and Hose.
Oh. Get me rapping.
Voice of a generation.
Don't get me rapping.
But Montgomery Men's Health, well, guys, we know as we get older, as we mature, two things can start to happen. Well, one is performance issues, you know, when I'm talking about erectile dysfunction.
Right.
Or low testosterone. And it's nothing to deny, put off, be embarrassed about. It's not something also to wait to get fixed. You need to get by there to Montgomery Men's Health today, especially if you're experiencing all these symptoms. I know guys don't like going to the doctor. I'm that way too. But Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys just like us. So if you feel a lack of motivation, a lack of energy and drive, including a decreased sex drive, you just feel like you're walking through life in a fog. Well, knowing whether you have low T is huge in combating these issues. There are a lot of guys walking around who don't know they, in fact, have low testosterone. So the providers at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, you usually even notice an increased libido. You can actually book the same day that you call, guys. 440-3663. Again, that number, 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Well, hi, everybody. One more nice dry day today before the storm system approaches that'll bring rain back into our forecast. Today, though, some high cloudiness, but a good bit of sunshine and warm for March with a high temperature up near 80. We're dry through the evening hours tonight, but the risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms begin in the overnight hours. Then rain and storms become more likely on Friday and Friday night. The front will stall, and that'll keep the risk of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms in the forecast Saturday with a better chance on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Don Duncan with Don Duncan's All-American Automotive and Tire.
Just want to say a big thank you to Blue Water Broadcasting. They've been a big partner in our success. And again, thank you guys so much for all you've done for us. If you need anything, come see us. Again, this is Don Duncan with All American Auto and Tire.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Madness is happening right now. But the real action is happening at Toyota of Montgomery. Score our biggest Toyota savings of the year. That's on our biggest selection of new Toyotas in stock. Like the game-winning 2024 Camry, now $299 a month. Trade in your old car. No matter what it is, no matter where you got it. We'll give you up to $2,000 over book value for it. And they're here. The Toyota of Montgomery All-Stars. Shop and save thousands on our certified pre-owned Toyotas. They're just like new Toyotas, even come with a warranty, but cost thousands less. Want in on the action? Hurry before it all ends March 31st. Dribble down to Toyota of Montgomery online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Camry LE MSRP $30,958, 12,000 miles per year for 36 month leases with 3638 due at signing. $0 security deposit with accrued credit. Trade value is based on excessive wear, tear, and mileage, plus tax, tag, title, and $995 dock fee. Offer ends 4/1/2024.
Hey folks, this is Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center, and did you know there's all kind of dogs that we can feed? Like sleeping dog, hot dog, creek dog, swimming dog, hunting dog, shaggy dog, lap dog, window dog, riding dog, hiding dogs, puppy dog, standing dog, hat dog, cozy dog, family dog, even a dancing dog man. So come see us at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville, and we can even feed your kitty cat too.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final minutes of the first hour here on a Thursday, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. And like I said, I'm flying by the seat of my pants today.
Well, lucky for you, you got big boy pants. There's a lot of seat to hold on to there.
Judge Cannon asks if Trump prosecution is arbitrary enforcement. She is potentially preparing to throw out the case.
Ooh.
Asking Jack Smith tough questions. I believe this is the documents case in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Apparently, she is asking very tough questions. And this is all in light of Robert Hur's report and testimony. That really is the biggest elephant in the room.
More and more are coming out about that testimony. I watched as much as I could while I was working at the house. But it was, again, I loved it because he pissed off both sides, which means he got it right.
Now, this is from Julie Kelly on Twitter, saying that Cannon hammered the fact that no former president or vice president has been charged under the Espionage Act for taking and keeping classified records, including national defense information, which represents 32 counts against Trump in Jack Smith's indictment. Here is Julie Kelly's prediction. Cannon won't dismiss the case based on the motions debated today, vagueness of the Espionage Act and protection under the Presidential Records Act, but it is very likely she will dismiss the case based on selective prosecution, a motion still pending before her. Cannon pressed both defense and special counsel to explain when the quote-unquote crime of willful retention of national defense information begins. She noted the date in Jack Smith's indictment as to when Trump's first violated the Espionage Act, January 20th, 2021, the day he left office. Jay Bratt, representing Special Counsel Office, confirmed the crime began that day because as a former president, he was entitled to retain the documents. Cannon again asked for historical precedent as to when a former president or vice president faced charges for similar conduct. Bratt, of course, said there were none.
Ever.
And Cannon added multiple times in her questioning, and vice president. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Mike Pence all skated on criminal charges. Trump is the only one who has not. And in a large sense, you could say a president has a hell of a lot more right than a vice president.
Yes. And what kills me with that is we all, every American citizen, like it or not, knows what the deal is. So I'm glad she's saying it out loud.
This is an actual quote. Arbitrary enforcement is featured in this case. Is featuring in this case. That's from the judge. Wow.
Then why are we still having this case?
This is what a weird time we live in. It's just bonkers.
They can't get you another way. They'll drag you to the courts.
Mm. Hey, let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Receive these funds.
Oh, yeah. Shut up.
See? You see what I go through?
It's just,
see what I
can't have nothing.
Nope.
No respect.
Well, we must be on the do not call list, so I don't know how they're getting our numbers, Joey.
You know, Rodney Dangerfield's mom, got him a dog, and at first, thought, just to give him something that'll love him.
Yeah.
But she had to put a pork chop around his neck.
Ugly dude, wasn't he?
No respect.
No.
272-9228. Well, and one day his dad finally asked him to sit in his lap, but it was in the electric chair.
Oh,
just no respect. Yeah, I love some of the classic Rodney crap. Like that's a whole different animal right
How
there.
old was Rodney when he become popular? Like, to me, it was
Old.
80s, so he had to be in his 60s.
60s, yeah.
But he was a comedian the whole time, wasn't he? Just for whatever reason,
and
flying
he
under
just
my
wasn't
radar. or
successful.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Well, and I think he's a testament to incredibly hard work in a kind of a rough life.
He's got that sticking to it, this man.
Yeah.
How many
I'd like
rejections
to think
can you
I
take?
have that a bit, but not to that degree. But we got to hit this top of the hour break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team have a unique understanding of the River Region real estate market because Bo, well, he's been helping buyers and sellers in Montgomery and the surrounding areas for over 4 decades. I think it's getting close to 5. At the Goodson Group, they not only can help you with buying and selling, though, they also have management services available should you want to rent out your home, which is a great idea in this market. And then the crown jewel there at the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs in the state because, well, so many folks have graduated from Bo's Real Estate School and gone on to great success. Whether it's fully licensed realtors, it's a great way to prepare you for a licensing test, or as more knowledgeable private players. So check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. More news and views, well, after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. American shoppers picked up their spending in February after pulling back the previous month. But last month's gain was weaker than expected, and January's decline was revised even lower, suggesting that consumers are becoming more cautious. Retail sales rose 0.6% last month after falling a revised 1.1% in January. That's according to the Commerce Department. Meanwhile, wholesale prices in the U.S. accelerated again in February. It's the latest sign that inflation pressures in the economy remain elevated. The government's Producer Price Index, which tracks inflation before it reaches consumers, rose 0.6% from January to February, up from a 0.3% rise the previous month. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 195 points, the Nasdaq 87 points in the red. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. One more nice dry day today before the storm system approaches that'll bring rain back into our forecast. Today, though, some high cloudiness, but a good bit of sunshine and warm for March with a high temperature up near 80. We're dry through the evening hours tonight, but the risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms begin in the overnight hours. Then rain and storms become more likely on Friday and Friday night. The front will stall, and that'll keep the risk of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms in the forecast Saturday, with a better chance on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you once again for voting ASE the best credit union and best mortgage company in Central Alabama's Reader's Choice Awards. We're honored to serve our members for 69 years and counting.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A Montgomery man was injured in an apartment fire late Tuesday night. Montgomery Fire Rescue responded to the 3600 block of Woodley Road around 10:27 p.m. to find smoke and flames in a downstairs apartment. A unidentified 55-year-old male was transported to the hospital. The fire is under investigation. Governor Kay Ivey's office confirmed reports of an attempted cyber attack against some government websites in Alabama. The denial of service attack started Tuesday afternoon. Officials said no data was accessed. However, some state websites are running slow as the IT department investigates further. Family Dollar is set to begin closing 1,000 stores this year. Family Dollar announced it will close 600 stores in the first half of 2024 and at least 370 more stores over the next few years as leases expire. It's not known yet exactly which stores will be closing. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Veterans Access to Care bill now in the Alabama State Legislature will relieve the overwhelmed federal VA healthcare system and provide the specially tailored care that veterans need.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey. We have Eddie still in the studio. How you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing a lot better now.
And right across the desk from us now, to kick off this hour, we have the one, the only Madeline Cannon from Alabama Home Mortgage. How you doing, Madeline?
Good. Good to be here.
Good to have you here in the studio. So first off, just how's life in general? Life all right?
Yeah, life's treating me well. What about you?
Yeah, it's treating me pretty good. How about you, Eddie?
Good, but have we met any single women from a buddy here?
No, shut up. You don't.
What? I thought that's the whole reason we bring in women.
You came in here as a big sourpuss, so did I, and you like it.
I thought that's the whole reason we're bringing women in now.
No, that's
did I misread
sexist,
that?
man.
No,
Yeah, I thought we were here to talk about mortgages.
That's
we
sexist,
are.
man.
Do you have any single women in the mortgage business?
Racist. So yeah, how's the mortgage market going?
Yeah, what a segue, guys.
Right.
Mortgage world, not a lot has changed since the last time I was here. We had hoped that interest rates were going to take a little bit of a nosedive, but unfortunately that's not the case. Now they're talking about it's probably going to be closer towards the end of the year. Not surprised by that. We have a presidential election between now and then. So, of course, not your listeners, but the general American public, they don't want to do anything now because there's too much time between now and then for people to forget.
Right.
And they want to look like the heroes, not the people who killed the real estate market. So,
Tell them, honey.
Anyhow, we're anticipating rates to fall sometime towards the end of the year, but rates have been pretty stagnant so far.
Now, couldn't somebody just like go ahead and buy a house even at a higher rate, but
Yeah.
refinance later?
Absolutely. And that's what I'm encouraging people to do because interest rates will come down.
Yep.
Not a matter of if, but when. And the prices are not going to come down. So
Nope, they're only going to go up.
that's right. So if you can handle a monthly payment at this rate, just know that, that's the worst it's going to get for you. Nobody's going to twist your arm and make you refinance to your detriment, right?
Right.
So when interest rates fall, you can have that house that you loved at a lower interest rate and a lower payment. As long as you've been in that house for at least 6 months, made 6 months payments, then you would be eligible to refinance in the future when the market supports that.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the VA programs. Like, if we had to lay out a few things that people, like what they don't know about the VA home loan programs. Well, I'd imagine the first is a lot of veterans don't even know they're eligible for some of this.
Yeah, it's really a shame how many veterans qualify for a VA mortgage and don't know it, or just were not advised when they purchased their first home what the VA mortgage program could provide for them, one of which is 100% financing. Their service is their down payment, which is huge.
Wow.
Yes. And then secondly, I don't know who put this word out, but all the veterans seem to think that they can only have one VA mortgage in their lifetime.
Right.
And that's just simply not the case. You can actually carry more than one VA mortgage at a time if you have enough eligibility on your certificate of eligibility that's issued by the VA. Without getting into the weeds of the math of all that, give us a call. You'd be surprised. For example, I spoke to a veteran yesterday, got her pre-approved. She currently occupies her home, received a VA mortgage because it's only for primary residence. You can't use a VA on investment, right? Now she's going to vacate the property that's currently hers and buy another home, but she doesn't want to refinance that house out of a VA mortgage. She said, I thought I had to refinance that one so I could use my VA on the new one. No, ma'am. You've got enough eligibility that you can keep that house at your 3% interest rate that you got from the VA back in, 2019 and go use your VA eligibility again to go purchase another primary residence. So a lot of veterans just don't understand that is an option for a lot of people.
Well, and obviously, like if you haven't taken advantage of a VA mortgage and you're in a house right now, the example you just gave, there's advantages to the VA when refinancing.
Of course, yeah. You don't currently have to have a VA mortgage to refinance into a VA loan.
Right.
So if you're a veteran listening that has an FHA, USDA, or a conventional loan, you owe it to yourself to pick up the phone and give us a call and see if a VA mortgage would be to your benefit to refinance.
See, I didn't even know that one. I didn't know that you could refinance into a VA loan.
Absolutely.
Every time, this is
So
why
sexist.
when my clients call me and they start talking loan, I give them the brief information I can give them, and then I give them the information of our phone number, and they call me and they start telling me, "Did you know this? Did you know that?" I'll be honest. Sometimes I go, "Yeah, I didn't know that." I'm writing it down.
So let's play a little scenario out here. I might have lived this scenario. I don't know. Where I call up Alabama Home Mortgage at 567-4223, and I either get you or Kim on the line, and I'm like, I don't even know where my credit's at, but I'm interested in buying a home. Turns out I don't have much established credit, or my credit's not great. Y'all give advice, like tips and tricks on how to get in a good position for a good deal?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers, they may not have had their credit pulled recently or ever, right? And so for those that are just getting started or not, those that are maybe repairing credit, coming off of a bankruptcy, had a foreclosure in the past, whatever it may be, we can absolutely pull that credit report. If we don't qualify now, we'll provide you with a personalized game plan to get you there so that you know exactly what steps you need to take to become a homeowner.
Excellent.
Yeah, I like that idea. Well, and this is like why we like y'all for all sorts of reasons, but the fact that you're actually here in the studio, that y'all are local, you live here, you know the community, you're part of the community.
That's right. We're your neighbors.
Yeah, and that beats like filling out a form necessarily online and never actually getting to meet the real person doing your mortgage.
That's right. Yeah, we can't hide behind our computer or phone. You can.
And they're local.
That's
They
right.
have a local office.
Yes.
A lot of these places don't, and all you get is either a phone call or a dial tone, or you get somebody's voicemail.
Or they're required to have, an office suite number.
Right.
But nobody really
They
occupies
just collect
that.
mail there. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So am I missing anything? I mean, about this interview, this conversation.
I have to say, man, where do we start? Okay,
Texas.
Well, I just want people to know that we don't only service the state of Alabama. We've been getting calls here a lot lately, especially from the veteran community. People are getting their orders. They're looking to relocate. So if you are in Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, or Georgia.
Oh, wow, Georgia too.
Georgia too.
I like that.
Yes. So we can service any property located in those 4 states.
Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia.
And Florida.
And Florida.
And Florida. The free state of Florida.
All right. I like that. We might as well annex the rest of that part.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't.
Yeah, we should have.
I don't know what we're thinking.
Like, you go to Pensacola, and it's kind of like, this is Alabama.
Right. It is
That's
just
how
Alabama.
I feel about it.
It's exactly Alabama.
Right. Well, do you want to stick around?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
I know.
But before we
can
hit
have
this break, again, Alabama home mortgage number 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can apply online, get the process going at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline here prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Will be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Madness is happening right now. But the real action is happening at Toyota of Montgomery. Score our biggest Toyota savings of the year. That's on our biggest selection of new Toyotas in stock. Like the game-winning 2024 Camry, now $299 a month. Trade in your old car. No matter what it is, no matter where you got it, we'll give you up to $2,000 over book value for it. And they're here. The Toyota of Montgomery All-Stars. Shop and save thousands on our certified pre-owned Toyotas. They're just like new Toyotas, even come with a warranty, but cost thousands less. Want in on the action? Hurry before it all ends March 31st. Dribble down to Toyota of Montgomery online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Camry LE, MSRP 30,958, 12,000 miles per year for 36-month leases with 3638 due at signing. $0 security deposit with accrued credit. Trade value is based on excessive wear, tear, and mileage, plus tax, tag, title, and $995 doc fee. Offer ends 4/1/2024.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
I work with unbelievable people. I feel like CBS News, I mean, the people I work with, they're like the platinum people of the industry.
Jill Schlesinger is the Emmy and Gracie award-winning business analyst for CBS News. We talk about careers in journalism and significant mid-career shifts. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at whatsworkingcam.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm Joey. That's Eddie.
Hey, buddy.
And that's Madeline.
Yes,
Hello.
And we call the show News and Views. Also, Joey Clark Live online. You can go on YouTube to Joey Clark Live and be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell too.
There you go. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Let everybody know, or let Joey know how good he looks today.
Have some fun with it. And, from earlier, we have Kendall. Oh, hey, Kendall. How you
Hey,
doing?
buddy.
Saying, I wish Mr. Daniels the best of luck in the Dem runoff. I'll be voting on the other ticket, but I do believe he is real in what he says, and I tend to agree.
Seemed very believable.
Yeah.
I
No,
really
because he's
like the
actually
guy.
done it up
and
there.
That's the thing. Like he keeps saying, he's got the receipts.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And again, there is a lot of money being poured into this district, especially on the Democratic side.
Just get a little bit of that. Just get my hands on a little bit of that money.
Yeah. So the big fight right now in conservative silly season land is over TikTok. But do you want to make some sideways comment first about me getting fat or me not having a lady, or like I can see you champing at the bit over there?
No, Joe. I'm here to elevate you. buddy.
Every time a lovely woman comes into the studio here, you have some comment about me.
I never noticed that, but I'll go back and look at the tape. Because I usually
It's
have comments
true.
about you, whether the women
It's
are here or
true.
not. Just so
Yeah,
we're clear.
Or
That's
as the
true.
kids are calling it, look at the receipts, right?
That's right. Look at the receipts. But when we do have a good-looking woman in here, such as Madeline, I know she has hot friends because they all run in packs together.
What'd you call them? Captivating?
Very captivating. And
Y'all are giving me the ick.
no. I bet we are.
Yeah, I didn't want to take it there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're just looking for some female companionship for Joey.
Yeah,
There's that.
actually, it's a fool's errand.
Yeah, it is. So it's,
Yeah.
you know.
Anyway, you want to see Rand Paul and Brian Kilmeade yell at each other over TikTok?
Kill me, kill me, kill me.
Yeah, Brian, kill me, kill me, kill me. So of course he hates the one libertarian senator we have.
Of course.
Up there. So let's listen in together. Let's throw this up on the screen on the live stream, and I'm gonna try not to blow a gasket.
Okay.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator Paul, why do you believe that TikTok is not a danger to America?
I don't think it's a question of whether the allegations are true or false. I think when you're alleged of a crime, you have to be convicted of it. So you can't really take someone's property in our country without a conviction. That's in the Fifth Amendment. You have to have due process to take someone's company from them or force them to sell. But even beyond the Fifth Amendment, the First Amendment says that those 180 million Americans who express themselves on the platform have a right as well. There's already been a preliminary decision by a federal district judge in Montana that tried to ban this. There were two decisions under Donald Trump when he tried to ban this. They've all been found unconstitutional. And the thing is we can like or dislike TikTok. I've actually never looked at TikTok. But the thing is using it or not using it, whether you own it or not own it, really has to be according to the law, because there's a real danger. For example, Fox News, I don't know, maybe you have some foreign owners. I don't know if everybody's an American citizen. And then what if they say, well, Fox News is giving misinformation on the election. You have a foreign ownership, you have misinformation according to the government, and all of a sudden they say, well, we're going to shut down Fox News, or we're going to shut down Twitter. So the bill isn't just about TikTok. It mentions TikTok by name, which is also a problem because laws are not allowed to target one company.
Right.
But there is also a danger that it goes beyond that.
So I want you to hear with the FBI. So in terms of banning it, I think national security should trump that. And it being that we're finding out that Beijing is designing this algorithm to help divide America over the hot issues that you debate every day in Congress, from race to gender.
Okay, I got to pause it there.
Okay.
And it's not even something Kilmeade necessarily said, or it is something he said, but it's not about him on this instance.
Okay.
I've been saying this for years. It's like the Russians are dividing us. The Chinese are creating an algorithm to divide Americans. It's like, I think we're doing that on our own just fine.
100%.
Right.
100%.
And you're going to blame some esoteric algorithm that nobody really understands other than the programmers for all the division in America?
There's why. You just said it. Nobody really understands it.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, it's way over their head. Oh, it's Chinese. It's TikTok. Oh, it's the bad. It's the devil.
It's the Ruskies.
There you go.
Right. It's just the misinformation out there.
I don't think it's any better or worse than Facebook.
Agreed.
Amen.
Do we not have, all right, Facebook's supposedly owned by a American company, right? Does he not have foreign investors? Guarantee he does.
And I love
Guarantee it.
And they've been proven to use it
Do
for
the
political.
exact same thing
yeah.
that TikTok does, that TikTok's being accused of. Facebook, Instagram, probably even Twitter have been accused of the exact same thing. I guess they're going after them next.
Well, that's the argument Rand's making. It's the argument we
It's a
were making.
slippery
the other day.
slope,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because, this is just for foreigners.
No, again,
sure.
They lie. They have lied. They will continue to lie.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going after anybody.
Well,
else.
and a lot of the tools and tactics they perfected overseas are being used against Americans today. We're only going to use this extremist language thing against ISIS.
Right.
Oh, wait, now, if you have a different opinion about 2020 election or January 6th, you're just like them. You're just as extreme, and we have to stop this misinformation from being spread. So let's keep going. Let's hear Mr. Kill Me out.
These other things, knowing this has been around since 2016, Gordon Chang came out and says it's like allowing 170 million spy balloons over America. And here's what the FBI director said yesterday.
That kind of influence operation, or the different kinds of influence operations you're describing, are extraordinarily difficult to detect, which is part of what makes the national security concerns represented by TikTok so significant. Americans need to ask themselves whether they want to give the Chinese government the ability to control access to their data.
So, I mean, doesn't that concern you? Do you think, do you see a difference? Do you think there should be maybe a listing of nations like Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran that should not be able to own entities like this?
Well, here's the first thing, and this is the most important fact of all of this, and it needs to be debated, not assumed as a fact. The company is owned 60% by international investors, 20% by the two Chinese software engineers who developed it, the entrepreneurs who began the business, and 20% by their employees, 7,000 of whom are American. So it's a very diverse ownership. It's not owned by the Chinese government. In fact, on TikTok's board, there are no Chinese nationals that control this that are associated with the government at all. They're CEOs from Singapore. So this is an international corporation, and like every other international corporation, they deserve their day in court. You can't just take their property. Look, I have a lot of arguments with the Chinese communists. I have a lot of arguments with the Saudi authoritarians, but I'm not saying we should allow banning anybody to do business with the Saudis because they have an unsavory government as well, and because they spy on their people.
Senator, did you see the hearing, or were you part of that hearing? I can't remember what committee it was in front of, when the CEO of TikTok was there trying to rationalize why we should leave it in this country?
You know, I wasn't in that hearing, but I do know that they have been working very closely with our government to try to adhere to anything they can do to stay open in our business, in our country. They've offered and actually have transferred most of their data to Texas, to an Oracle cloud. They have review of the data by Oracle to make sure it's being controlled here. They're offering to go through what's called CFIUS. CFIUS is a procedure where foreign-owned government countries are trying to
shut up, Kilmeade.
American boards. They've also worked with the government to try to do
fundamental.
that.
I know about the Texas project, and I wish it was effective, but it isn't. We put $1 billion into it, or they did. But they did. He could not
But that's
assure
an opinion,
that
Brian.
ByteDance.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
No, nobody thinks the Texas project did. No, but nobody thinks. Let me finish. Nobody thinks the Texas project is up and running and is effective.
I do. So the thing is when you say nobody believes that it is.
And let me just finish. They could not answer. The CEO would not assure that Beijing would not have access to personal information for 170 million Americans.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
which
that's
is
true.
number one with young people. It is true. The
But
number
even
one
if
with
it
young
were
people
true, even if it
is
were true,
now.
Brian, it's an allegation. You are making allegations against a company owned by Americans, and you have to prove it in court.
Who
You
owns
can't
that
just
company?
make-
Who owns that company?
60
ByteDance. ByteDance is owned by China.
No, it's not. See, that's a lie, and you're defaming the country. You're defaming the company. 60% of it is owned by international investors, 20% is owned by the software developers who are Chinese, and 20% is owned by the employees, 7,000 of whom are Americans. So it's a
Who
complicated
controls the
ownership,
algorithm?
But it's not owned by
It's
the
not
government.
about profits. Who owns the algorithm?
TikTok owns their own algorithm, and it's actually not in China.
Who owns TikTok? ByteDance. And who owns ByteDance? The Chinese government.
No, they don't. See, you've just told a lie, Brian. You can't say on TV something that's a lie about a company.
Okay.
That is an out-and-out lie, and it's provably
What is a lie?
false. And they're not owned by the Chinese government. TikTok is owned privately, 60% by international investors.
ByteDance controls the algorithm. That's all that matters. You're talking about profits.
Let me finish.
I've been listening to you.
Let me finish the answer. 60% is owned by international investors who have made investments in this. 20% is owned by the 2 Chinese software engineers who developed the app, and 20% by their employees in an
Who
employee
controls the
sharing
algorithm?
arrangement. And 7,000 of them are Americans, and the algorithm's not in China. Everything is held outside of China. Their CEO,
You're comfortable with
their
TikTok
business is
influencing
in
America.
Singapore.
And you
I'm comfortable
believe
with the
that
Wow.
those 60% of foreign ownership controlled it. Senator,
I'm
thank you so much. I
comfortable
got to
with
go
the Constitution.
I got to go to.
You cannot take people's property without due process.
Right.
If you believe that there's a national security exception
There is a
to
national
the
security.
Constitution, then you believe
Prove
that
it.
Fox News could be shut down, that Twitter could be shut down.
Senator,
That's a
thank you very
terrible
much.
thing to
I'm up
believe.
against a hard.
Yeah. It is a terrible thing to believe. And it's anytime they trot out somebody like Brian Kilmeade to give one of these intense, like, grillings to a guest who disagrees, it's like, which one of your Pentagon handlers told you all this, Kilmeade? And again, folks, we've seen this again and again and again. Everybody agreed. Oh, we can't let ISIS recruit online, so we got to stop all their misinformation, disinformation. Oh, we can't let the Russians influence an American election, so we got to build this whole misinformation construct, all this infrastructure in order to tamp down on that. By the way, they come up with a new term called malinformation. So even if an American says something that's true, but it's not good to the cause, that's still got to be, curated. While you've got Don Lemon grilling Elon Musk about, aren't you being irresponsible, taking ketamine and not managing, curating your platform enough? You can see where this is going, and they're counting on you being so scared of the Chinese because they are the ones who still have the megaphone. Because you're one click, folks. Oh, well, Fox is on. We're going to watch that all day. They're not telling you the truth. They're trying to scare you into another government power grab. And all these things are saying are against the foreigners for national security. It will be used on your ass a few years from now.
Certainly.
If not next year. If not this November.
What's the big issue with TikTok? It's owned by the Chinese. They say that Chinese businesses are compelled to give that information to the government. What about American businesses? Do we not have that same practice?
Yes. Well, and again, Senator Paul just laid out, here's the ownership structure.
Right. What would happen if in China or another country where they said, hey, this American business, we're going to have to close it down because they are tied to the U.S. government? How would the leadership react then?
Well, and for a fact, I gave up for the most part trying to expand on Facebook because it's so freaking controlled. And it's controlled for a reason. And it's not because, the Chinese or the Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Can you imagine being in colonial Boston? Paul Revere starts yelling about the British coming and you got your pants off.
As long as I got my rifle next to me, I'm good.
Yeah, but you'd like to have your pants on in a moment like that.
Taken a shot without pants before.
I just had that thought the other day when we walked by Paul's house.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I can't imagine if in an emergency I didn't have pants on.
Listen at him. He's on a first name basis with Paul Revere. Well,
Yeah.
by Paul's house.
By Paul's house. Well, he got invited over, so
Yeah.
it feels like,
Right. It's just...
He's over at Paul's with his
I'm hanging at
pants
Paul's.
down. Yeah.
Watch a TikTok.
Yeah.
It's a old writer named Garrett Garrett. Literally his name is...
Double G?
Yeah, some people try to be fancier. It's Garrett Garrett. No, it's Garrett Garrett. And I think he was writing in the 30s. He's kind of part of that old right. And he talked about, in a lot of his writings, America's complex of fear and vaunting. What does that mean? It's like the vaunting is like, we're the best ever. Nobody can touch us. We're America, the exceptional, indispensable nation.
Fantastic.
And as soon as anything is presented to the American people, it's a mouse! Take my liberty! Take my wife and my jewels! Take my son! Anything to stop the big threat that I can't prove. It's happened in history time and time again. They lie us into war. They lie us into giving up more of our money, more of our wealth, more of our liberties. And you know what? Especially you boomers, not the everyday person, but you know what I'm talking about. Look at what you've done to this country over the last 40 years. Look at what you've done.
And I think the catch about all this TikTok stuff is a lot of people are saying that it's influencing the youth, it's influencing the next generation so that they'll be friendly towards communism, friendly towards all that. Well, where are the parents?
Right.
Your child does not have to be on TikTok.
Thank you.
Right.
Your child doesn't have to have a cell phone. Your child does not have to be on the internet.
Correct.
You don't put it on the boomers?
No. Boomers, I think, were much like me. They went to work assuming the people they elected would take care of things. They got screwed too.
This is what I mean. I think everybody had it too good.
I don't
Thinking,
know,
well,
man.
it'll never be a rainy day. You sure should listen to the folks that went through the Depression more. Because I think a rainy day is right ahead. Ain't that a happy way to end a segment? This part of the program brought to you by Cole Plumbing. And there at Cole Plumbing, James Cole and the entire team there are ready to help you out with any of your plumbing needs. It could be something as simple as a clogged drain or low water pressure. Maybe you've been on the property a while. You've seen that beautiful tree grow towards the sky. Well, those roots have been growing too.
Yeah.
You might get a tree root invasion.
Yep.
It's no fun. They could also help you with things like a gas line leak. Or maybe you got a basement and the sump pump isn't pumping water when it rains.
No, that ain't good.
Yeah, you don't want to let
want
that
that.
static water sit down.
You don't
there
want a
too
swimming
long.
pool in the basement.
Ooh, that's just nasty.
Right.
And of course, for those big emergency jobs, say something like a burst pipe, Cold Plumbing, well, they have this proprietary pipelining technology. It allows them to get in there with minimal discomfort to you in your home, which means they're not going to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a
Right.
huge hole in the yard,
No big mess.
and solve your problem with precision and expertise. So check them out today. You can always go to coldplumbing.com or give them a call at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Get ready for Capco's Spring Open House, March 18th through the 23rd. We have lots of items to give you inspiration. New spring merchandise, home decor, silk florals, and much more. We'll have door prizes and daily deals all week. Saturday, March 23rd, enjoy refreshments and music by Brian Brantley, 11 to 1, and designer demonstrations at 1 p.m. Visit our Spring Open House for huge savings on our already low outlet pricing. Capco's Spring Open House, March 18th through the 23rd on the Wetumpka Highway.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. You know, just give him a call.
Whole house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. The Johnny Adams Law Firm, proud sponsor of the Rich Thomas Weather Network. You can't control the weather, but you can control your drive. Be aware of your surroundings in any weather. Be a defensive driver. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. One more nice dry day today before the storm system approaches that'll bring rain back into our forecast. Today, though, some high cloudiness, but a good bit of sunshine and warm for March with a high temperature up near 80. We're dry through the evening hours tonight, but the risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms begin in the overnight hours. Then rain and storms become more likely on Friday and Friday night. The front will stall, and that'll keep the risk of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms in the forecast Saturday with a better chance on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 272-9228. Well, we can go from Brian and Rand Paul arguing to, what I mentioned there in my rant. Elon Musk and Don Lemon there with Elon Musk is, okay, so here's the deal. Don Lemon is fired from CNN a year ago.
Right.
He then gets a deal, like not that long ago, inked with X, with the X platform. Just kind of how Tucker Carlson did a big deal with them. And you think, okay, well, maybe Don Lemon's seeing the writing on the wall that, like, okay, cable news is kind of going by the wayside, and the old approach to reporting and whatnot is not going to win him the day. And then he goes and does something like this. I'll give you the end of the story. A couple hours, I think that, if not a few hours after Don Lemon did this interview with Elon Musk, X terminated their contract with him.
Can you blame him?
Well, okay. And then you found Don Lemon back on CNN talking about the interview he did with Elon Musk. He was like, I thought you were fired from the place. It's just thick as thieves, these folks, thick as thieves. So here's a little bit of what all went down.
That you shared with us. This is a part of the conversation with Musk where you ask him about hate speech.
Hate speech, yes.
Hate speech on the platform is up. Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats? I don't have to answer these questions. The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
Best way to be.
In so many ways. All right, I have two things.
Okay, no, I don't want to hear you, Aaron.
Best way to be. I wish I could get hit on and knocked down and just be able to walk away like no big deal.
Or just have enough money that you could say and do whatever you wanted to.
I would be the worst. It would be so fun.
And you just gotta love this predicate that, there's hate speech out there. There's hate speech out there. It's like, yeah.
You can go in a bathroom in a public place, you'll find hate speech. Right. I don't see Don Lemon doing a show from there.
Well, and who gets to define what's hate?
Right.
What's hateful?
Anything you don't agree with.
There you go.
Right.
That's it.
And I love how the professional left, the professional managerial class, for the longest time were not just the political people of, but like their livelihoods. Their life was all about free speech and freedom of expression. You know, we can take government dollars, give it to some artist, and he could put a crucifix in piss. Literally call it piss Christ. Freedom of speech.
Yep.
Freedom of expression. But as soon as free speech seems to be turning the other way, all of a sudden we're coming up with all sorts of excuses, whether it's national security, the Chinese, or the Russians, or it's, Americans are just so hateful.
Mm-hmm. Animal Farm.
They were all good with free speech, as long as they had control of airwaves.
Sure.
They were talking about this stuff, hate speech and populism, danger, all the way back when Rush Limbaugh got going in the early 90s.
Sure.
Because Rush actually offered an alternative. And now that people can go online and mostly behave freely, and they loved it with Barack Obama. They're like, yeah, Barack Obama, the first social media president. And as soon as Trump gets elected in 2016 using Twitter, like, nope, free speech is just, it's against our safety, it's against decency, it's against all this other stuff. And it's like, Americans, you need to see it because you're being played at every turn. These people do not have principles that they express in public. Their principle is that of power. When they have less power than you, they'll appeal to your principles. When they have more power to you, they'll smash you because that's according to their principles. Pay attention.
That's right.
Hey, let's see what Jean has to say today. Hey, Jean, how you doing?
How's Miss Lucy doing?
She's doing wonderful. The new baby girl. Yeah, she's awesome.
I know she is. Have you got to see her lately?
Only through photos.
Oh, okay.
But I'm getting a mini every other day, every week. And it's great. With modern technology, it's one of the upsides of it, where even though I live in a different city, I could see her developing. Like that one video I saw recently, she's doing a lot of belly time, not quite crawling, but, balancing, getting a little more strength. She's very expressive, laughing and stuff now.
How old is she now?
She was born in October 3rd, so I'll let y'all do the math.
5 months.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you take it easy, and I love you.
Love you too, Gene. Well, that's sweet. After all
Very
my
sweet
ranting
lady.
and raving.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what a juxtaposition. We've been all angry.
They're trying to bring him down a little bit.
Well, we had fun yesterday talking about practical jokes and pranks.
I didn't tell one of the best ones.
Okay.
I worked at Hyundai and Appleton Wire, places where you used to get away with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of those older guys would drink coffee all day. And so I found a really greasy nut one time, big old one, about that big, a mechanical nut.
Okay.
It was on a bolt.
Point
Put
of
it in
clarification.
It's like, why are you bringing up almost?
So I
walnuts.
put it in a friend of mine's coffee, and he drank it all day. Well, at the end of the day, you just keep refilling. That's what old people do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
That's
he
what
went
old people do.
That's what old people do.
Okay, boom.
At the end of the day, he went to clean out his coffee cup, and man, that was a brand new, shiny looking nut that fell out of there. So all that grease and stuff, it kind of consumed all day. Why y'all giving me the sad? This was funny. This was the funny.
I don't like messing with what people eat and ingest.
Just a little grease. Anything just
a
lube
little
the system.
Just a little grease.
Just a little grease.
Yeah,
Good
when you have
handful
to
of it.
like a big, like at least an industrial grade jack or a pretty sizable jack.
Okay.
It's hydraulic, right? And sometimes you have to refill the hydraulic fluid. Do you ever lick that?
No, but I had some sprayed on me, and when it gets on some of your upper body stuff, it burns.
Really?
Y'all are an HR nightmare.
Oh,
isn't like the last time I had to refill? It's like blue when it comes out nasty.
That's just a different brand, but
Okay.
a lot of it will get warm anyway. But I don't know what it is. But on my skin, especially my upper body skin, I had a line break when I was standing there one time. Man, my whole upper body got red, itched like crazy.
What are you complaining about? It's just hydraulic fluid.
No, I was fine. I was extra lubricant for a while. I was extra slippery.
Okay, you're gross. Man. Sexist, man. This sex. Let's go to Eric the Duck. Hey, the Duck.
What's up, Duck?
And I'm telling you the truth, Joey. If we ever had to elect any one man, it's gonna have to be JoJo. I didn't nickname you now JoJo because everybody at work said JoJo.
JoJo.
They call me JoJo?
I don't want you to take offense now.
That's fine.
JoJo.
You call me whatever you like. I've been called worse.
You call me what you want. Don't call me late for supper. you know, I really need an opinion, and I tell you yours because Napolitano, I can't never say his name. Starts with an N, and you interview him. I love him, and I tell you, this town, you better thank your lucky stars that Joey can get in there and handle that interview because, man, I don't know how you hold your composure, man, because this man is really worldwide. And here's my thing. I want me, and I know you can enforce it, and I know Budell, my friend, calls him Budell. I don't know why he calls him Greg Budell. Budell. I told Greg, I said, it's not Budell, it's Budell. And anyhow, set me Lunchbox, Eric the dog, me, Randall, and there's one more, Lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to work it where we can get in the studio all at once. We can roundhouse, and you talk about like Allison St. Clair said, she said that would be a hell of a
Wait, did you
day.
say Roundhouse or Roadhouse?
Roadhouse.
Well, it could be either one, damn it.
I like this guy.
Hey, either way, I love you guys. And, damn, what do you, I mean, I want an opinion because I know that would be a very interesting topic because you got Lunchbox. I love Randall. I love all of them. Red Top and me. Of course, man, can you imagine? Well,
It sounds crowded, but if we're going to do something like that, I don't think it needs to be in the studio. I think it needs to be at an event where we're doing a remote.
That's a good idea.
Bomb hours or wherever we'll have
Joey's
it.
house.
No, I don't know about that.
I think
oh, yeah, that's right.
Centrally
Yeah,
located,
yeah.
no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just know my grandfather. You don't want to deal with these circus animals.
Oh, he would love it.
Oh, man. Hey, Joey, you been through under the bus, big man. Your ass is fast.
Well, JoJo out. Appreciate the call, Doug.
See you, Doug.
Goodness gracious.
What's wrong with Joe Exotic? I thought you were going to.
I'm happy with that one. I've been called many names.
Yeah.
Well, Joseph's my legal name.
Mm-hmm. That's your government name.
Yeah, they called it out at the airport, and for a second, I'm like,
It takes you a second.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
You look over your shoulder for the other guy.
Yeah. Right. And then I've been called Joey since I was a kid and just stuck with me. J. Ray, because my granddaddy, who died a few years ago, his middle name was actually also Ray.
Mm-hmm.
But he always went by Ray because it was L. Ray. What do you think the L stood for? His first name.
I don't want to be.
Lester.
I was going to go with, okay.
And he hated the name
Really,
Lester?
Lester?
For some reason. He did. Lester
Maybe
Ray
too
Clark.
formal.
Yeah, I don't know. So he always went with Ray. So he called me J. Ray. Then he'd also call me Joe Bird. And then my grandfather now that I'm living with says just Joe.
I thought he would call you roommate.
Yeah, well, he does sometimes, but he usually goes with Joe. In college, there was Vanilla Thrilla. There was Jay Freeze. There was Sauce.
There's stories behind all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the sauce one.
You
the
like
other two I'd
sauce?
like to talk off air about.
Vanilla Thriller?
I got a feeling, yeah. I got a feeling you got that name kind of.
Well, you know,
sarcastically.
Eddie, his first name's not Eddie.
No.
I know.
My government name's Randall.
No, I like to think Randy, and then I think Trailer Park Boys.
Let me go ahead. I'll put this out there, and I hope my mom's listening.
Hey,
'cause
Randy.
She deserves the embarrassment of this.
Okay.
The reason she named me Randy, and I asked later on in life, why'd you name me Randy? There's no Randys in our family. Randy in British, it refers to being horny, and I thought that was funny.
He's told me this story before. I refuse to believe that any mother would select that name with that intent.
The more stories I hear, I believe them, Madeline.
You ever say some bad words in front of your mom and get your mouth washed out with soap?
No.
If that would have happened, would she have used clean soap or the soap from the family shower? There you go.
I really am going to get that drop from Bubbles and Trailer Park Boys. Hey, Randy. No, Randy, I'm not going to do it again.
I know it's funny.
That's amazing.
My Randall, most people at Hyundai, that's what they made you go by your government name.
Sure.
So when people say Randall, a lot of times I forget, oh yeah, it's my government name. I don't turn around.
She really went with Randy because she
what
thought it was
told
funny?
Me. She told me I was about 11 or 12 years old. I've told you some of the things she's told me, Joey. I love my mother, but I wouldn't need a good therapist.
I like her even more now. That's hilarious. How about this? We got to hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro Services. Ashley and that great team there are ready to help you with all your pest control needs. And 'tis the season to get ready for all those pests showing up. I mean, y'all being in the real estate business, y'all know how it is, especially if somebody's got a house on the market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We use Pest Pro all the time at Alabama Home Mortgage.
They really do amazing work. So mosquitoes, we're seeing mosquito hawks, which means the mosquitoes
right there
are coming out and coming back with a vengeance. They can treat your whole property, treat your yard. You know, it's a shame when you invite grandma over and you got to spray her with a bunch of chemicals.
Yeah,
like
keep mosquitoes off?
Yeah, no, wouldn't you like
That
to
ain't
sit on
good.
the back porch or the front porch, the rocking chairs, and like enjoy yourself and
Right.
not get eaten up? Now, of course, fire ants will also be coming back
Yeah.
with a vengeance, whether you got dogs or kids, and
That's right.
you don't want them getting into that, or maybe even termites. And here's the deal. Homeowners insurance doesn't cover termite treatment or damage, so you might as well go ahead and get the treatment done because it's a lot less expensive to do the treatment early than it is to pay for termite damage repairs. A lot less expensive.
Yes.
And Pest Pro Services can help you with all that, folks. Plus, any problem you might see showing up, whether it's silverfish or all sorts of scorpions for you, too.
No, thank
Goodness
you.
gracious, man.
Yeah.
So call Pest Pro Services today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team there that Joey and Eddie and Madeline sent you. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is Major General Mike Summerall, former Adjutant General of the Alabama National Guard, urging the Alabama State Legislature to pass the Veterans Access to Care Bill. Both VA medical facilities and private clinics are failing our veterans who are dying by suicide at twice the rate of non-veterans and experiencing opioid overdoses in increasing numbers. This legislation will give veterans and their families access to the specialized care they need and deserve.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
Luxury car prices and payments have hit an all-time high. But at Lexus of Montgomery, we have every new Lexus model in stock with low APR financing to save you thousands. Right now, take advantage of as low as 3.99% APR financing on your favorite new Lexus. You don't have to pay more to get the luxury vehicle you want. Pay less at Lexus of Montgomery. You deserve to drive a Lexus from Lexus of Montgomery.
Financing up to 36 months is $29.50 per 1,000 financed. With approved credit. Ends 4/1/24.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. And let's go right to the phones and talk to Randall. Hey, Randall.
What up, Randall?
From one Randall to another.
That's right.
Hey, one horny goat to another.
I've overshared.
No, you didn't. You shared just the right amount.
I love it because I never knew that. Now, man, so much sense now. Sense. But man, I don't even know where to start. But y'all talking about, Elon and the satellites and it's I don't know, man. I forgot really why I called now, but man, you got me wondering what my mom was thinking. But I'm gonna tell you, I've been around a lot of presidents lately. Man, that's the first thing they doing. They checking out what this name means. You know what I mean? What does it mean? This, I wonder if they did that. Real. I don't know. Now I got me wondering. I ran. I don't know if y'all know or not, but they launched 3 satellites too, and so y'all keep your eye out what they doing, because it ain't them Houthis don't let them fool you, man. Them folks, this serious stuff going on, and since they had launched some satellites, and I do got that sitting in front of me, but they launched 3 of them. One of them was fairly big, and they're supposed to be detecting about. It's supposed to be used to see about develop. I don't even know how to make sure other rockets travel the right way. I don't know exactly how to articulate it right. I shouldn't. I get jumped to that, but just so y'all know, they have done 3. And Joey, don't use somebody Elon and somebody he looks like he's on the outside and on that space stuff falling. They had a capsule land the other day.
That had astronauts. Yeah. It was successful, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw it through a thermal lens, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's not enough heat surrounding that thing. Like, even when I saw the live view, it wasn't no steam coming off when it hit the water. Like, how does it go from 11,000 miles an hour, come through the atmosphere? Like, it uses the atmosphere to put the brakes on. And they had to have heat shields, because they talk about how hot it gets. And they talk about how hot and the heat shields keep them, from getting burned up when they're coming back in, because they use the atmosphere to slow it down. How come ain't no steam? I mean, I ain't go to college. How come ain't no steam?
I'd have to see what you're referencing, Randall. I have no clue.
There'd have to be some moisture to create
and then on the Mars stuff, like, we never really talked about Devon Island. I never got into it with you, but I think it's time. We need to start looking at stuff like that and really, really asking questions. Why is NASA even up in Devon Island if they're not using that terrain to try to fool us about it being Mars landing? Like, it's too much matches. Man, the landscape is all the same. Like, it's crazy how it matches, and I don't know, man. It's just so much satellite stuff going on, and it's just extraterrestrial life we got looking at us down the road. I just want to know why. You know what I mean? We got to start using science. If they're gonna give us the scientific stuff and make us believe it, like we need to question that. So I want you to look at it and you tell me. And Red Top, I asked you why wasn't no steam coming off up when it landed. If there's so much heat, they gotta have these high tech heat shields to keep them from burning up as they re-enter. How come when it hits the ocean, it's just like ice cubes around it, and even through thermal vision. And then check out Devon Island, and let's start asking. And you're right, Eddie. I mean, LifeLog is Facebook. I mean, and they run their LifeLog was a government program ran, and I think they let it be known that the government program ran to see what people who would hop off, and folks did. Once they found out, people started hopping off, and then they let these college students say, hey, only y'all could be on this, and they started in February the 4th when LifeLog shut down. Facebook started, and hit the TikTok. The one thing that they got that is different than everything else is the cap cut. And cap means a lie. Cut means like cut, like movie scene. Like, so a cap cut, you make it. So they actually not only figuring out what you like, but they figuring out what you want to be like, what you really feel like on the inside. So they run an algorithm that's more scientific. That's why it takes longer for your stuff to get out.
Right, and I'm running out of time here, Randall. I want to clear something up because does TikTok know you're white? Because can we clear that up? You're white, right?
Yeah, I'm white.
Okay,
white.
I keep getting folks asking me about that, so I just wanted to put it out there in public. Doesn't really matter, but it's just true.
You know what, though? That's a good sign that you got new listeners piling in, baby.
There you go, brother.
That's good. That makes me feel so good. Because that question used to be asked to Baron Coleman.
All the time.
One of the number one asked questions. So, yeah, that makes me happy, man. I'm happy for you. Thank you, man. Y'all keep asking the right questions.
All right.
Thank you, Randall.
Thank you, Randall.
Love you, brother. You know what the number one question now is? Is Joey really single? For real? Yeah, for real. That's the number one question. If you were to get arrested today and you needed someone to bail you out, do you call?
If I needed to.
I don't want to put on the lie.
No, when the BMW, remember the BMW blew up?
Yeah.
Showed up?
Well, you had your ride or die with you. What happened?
He had to go to work. Yeah, now this has got real inside baseball. People have no clue what we're talking about.
And y'all are gesturing, and people who are not watching the live stream have no idea what you're doing.
That makes for good radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Madeline, thank you for hanging out this
Well,
hour.
thank you for having me.
I love it when you come in.
Putting
just so
up
you
with
know.
us.
I really do.
Had a good time.
And we learned some few things about VAs that honestly I didn't know. So thank you for bringing that to the table.
You're so welcome.
Now, next time you come, if you happen to have a hot friend that's single.
Shut up, Eddie. You're being creepy.
I was not asking for you. Perhaps somebody else in the studio is single.
Yeah. What?
Not in the studio, in the building. The building.
Say, don't.
Yeah. The building.
In the building.
Building. Big building here.
We'll talk to you later, Madeline.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
Madeline.
Because we need to stop right now. We'll be right back.
Hit a reset.
Chevrolet Master Control Center. This is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Massive chunks of hail pelted parts of Kansas and Missouri and brought traffic to a standstill along Interstate 70. Alex Sosnowski of AccuWeather said some were calling it gorilla hail because of its potential to be so big. There were 3 unconfirmed reports also of tornadoes in Waubonsee and Shawnee counties. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is ordering more than 250 law enforcement officers and soldiers to the Florida Keys to help stop what he anticipates to be an increase in Haitian migrants fleeing the violence in their country. However, the Coast Guard says it has not seen a recent increase in Haitian migrants attempting to reach the U.S. by boat. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 133 points, the Nasdaq losing 18. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. And remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. One more nice dry day today before the storm system approaches that'll bring rain back into our forecast. Today, though, some high cloudiness, but a good bit of sunshine and warm for March with a high temperature up near 80. We're dry through the evening hours tonight, but the risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms begin in the overnight hours. Then rain and storms become more likely on Friday and Friday night. The front will stall, and that'll keep the risk of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms in the forecast Saturday with a better chance on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. The Z700 series is the star of Kubota's line of zero-turn mowers, and our special spring pricing makes it easier than ever to take one home today. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
A nonprofit organization in North Alabama is sounding the alarm over unaccompanied migrant children and their placement here in the state. The executive director for Family Services of North Alabama, Sherry Hyatt, spoke with 1819 News reporter Daniel Taylor about these unaccompanied children. Marshall County has the highest number of these children being placed, and Hyatt says that once the child is placed by the Office of Refugee Resettlement, there's very little follow-up or tracking on how that child is treated. Hyatt says this increases the risk of that unaccompanied minor being mistreated, abused, and trafficked. Hyatt also points out that the children placed by ORR are also not tracked by DHR here in Alabama or law enforcement agencies, and that the homes they're placed in can go so far as to unenroll a child from school, and there will be no follow-up from the schools either. Hyatt says the child can go completely missing and become a ghost child who is then forced into sex trafficking or slave labor. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
The Montgomery Regional Airport announces a new partnership with Fly My Airport app. The new booking tool will allow for travelers to find a variety of domestic and international flights as well as travel packages at the lowest price possible. The partnership is designed to promote flying local through the Montgomery Regional Airport. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our number one goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
I got hairy legs.
If you're going to cough, please leave it.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, he's Eddie.
Hey, buddy.
Why'd you say it that way? It's just a weird way to say it. You could have just said, hey, how's it going, everybody? We go, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. No, it's just me. Inviting, warm and inviting. That's so wrong.
Whatever you say, Randy. Hey, joining us now, good friend of the show, Jeff Deist. He is the general counsel there at Monetary Metals, former president of the Mises Institute for about a decade, has done some work on the Hill. I believe it was with Ron Paul at the time. Bylines all over the world of publications. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Afternoon, Joey. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Let's start with what's everybody's arguing about, I guess, in the news. We played Brian Kilmeade and Rand Paul arguing about it on Fox and Friends, and Brian Kilmeade just, But what do you make of this latest round of let's ban TikTok because China's bad?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think it was Senator Paul who pointed out the other day that the ownership of TikTok is actually public and not exclusively Chinese by any stretch. There are, public company owners all over the world, for example, including in the United States. But I think it's one of those things where, you're blaming the tool, just like gun control, for example. In other words, TikTok's just a platform. It's just a video platform for mostly inane, moronic videos, Joey. But
right.
The idea that, China is using it, we've heard this before, it certainly sounds like Red Scare type mentality. And, I think it's a sad day really for free speech, but also for private property in America. This idea that so-called conservative or Republican members of Congress are basically calling for a change in control of a foreign company. I mean, it's not something they own. I mean, last time I checked, we were supposed to be a capitalist country where people own property and they control it, and people who don't own property have to buy it. So it's obviously a very jingoistic time, and whenever you see the left and the right joining on something, it's usually bad. I think that's a good rule of thumb, Joey.
Yeah, and you're old enough to remember, I know, though you're not old. I'm not saying that. That you remember the
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you remember firsthand probably the Patriot Act post 9/11 era, and I only know it historically. Really, I wasn't paying attention back then. But it seems like it's the same argument. It's the same argument of we need to fight misinformation so ISIS can't recruit online. It seems like everything they point at foreigners or for national security ends up being pointed back and used against Americans.
Well, if you look at the language of the bill that the House passed, it's very vague. It could theoretically be used to shut down websites as well, not just platforms. So it could very easily be applied to control or at least influence what you're allowed to see here in the U.S. as domestic internet users. The other thing that we forget is that basically the digital world has been a wonderful end run around governments all over the world. In other words, citizens, normal people, could actually start to talk to one another online and maybe get a different perspective about what was happening in their particular countries than what we're allowed to get in just mainstream media. So I think the internet's an important tool that we don't want to lose. And so The thing about this bill is that it just shows you sort of the view that our politicians have of us, that they don't have a lot of faith in us, they don't have a lot of trust in us to consume whatever information we care to, and then make whatever decisions we care to based on that. So again, it's really blaming the medium rather than the message. And are we so feeble-minded that something that would appear on TikTok or on a Facebook ad back in, this was the big thing about the 2016 election, supposedly been influenced by the Russians. And that turned out to be just complete nonsense. So it shows really the lack of faith that our politicians have in us. And more importantly, it shows the scapegoating of obviously a huge and very powerful country in China, but nonetheless, there's not one China. It's a billion people. They all have diverse interests. We can't blame them for the actions of the Chinese government any more than you can blame us. And the Patriot Act was a perfect example of this sort of hysterical overreaction, the idea that Congress had to do something. And the threat posed by Islamic or Muslim terrorism at the time, back in 2001, in my view, was far greater than the threat posed by maybe Chinese information manipulation today. So it shows you that we have not really progressed in the sense that we don't really, our elected officials don't really believe in our freedom, because at the slightest provocation, they're willing to shut it down, what I consider a very flimsy pretense.
And again, folks, we're talking to Jeff Deist. You can always go to @JeffDeist on the X platform. And, there's a clip I played the other day, and this goes along with something you were posting, I believe, on X the other day as well. It was a
Joey, it's called Twitter. Damn it, it's called Twitter. It's a little blue bird. It's Twitter. I don't understand what this X is supposed to be.
On Twitter, you were posting about this the other day, and I was watching BET interview black voters in Georgia, and a lot of guys, like one guy running a barber shop, a lot of small business owners are saying, I'm moving away from Biden considering Trump because of how hard it is to make ends meet. Like, I've been running this business for over a decade, and I really have never seen anything like this with the cost of running this thing. It's really tough. And yet the journalist doing the interview then cuts away and goes, oh, they just don't understand how good the economy's doing. Why this disconnect out there? And you just have to look at these folks and go, do you think that reporter really believes the GDP numbers? These midwits? But we see this over and over again. Don't believe your own eyes. Just believe what the government statistics say.
Yeah, it's so true. People feel it. We all feel it. And there's a million ways in which all these price increases are not directly reflected in, let's say, CPI index we get from the government. Also, the GDP numbers, those can be juiced simply by deficit spending, because government spending is a core component of GDP. So the government can go out and sell a bunch of treasury debt at fairly low rates, still, I guess about 5 for a 10-year, and that's included in GDP. But one of the ways in which people are really feeling it, Joey, that flows throughout the whole economy is, of course, insurance costs. And that goes to, if you own a home, that component of your mortgage is going up. If you're a renter, that's going to be reflected in your rent increases. If you need health insurance, which we all hope to need, or hope not to need, but hope to have, it's going to be reflected in that. It's going to be reflected in all kinds of property insurance rates on the businesses you might be a customer at. I mean, it's really amazing how rapidly and radically, more so than any time in my life, prices on everything have been going up. And of course, there's also a million hidden ways. Shrinkflation. I've just been reading about the quality of the physical paper in a physical book. If you go to your local bookshop, you will find that books being put out today are made of inferior paper and ink. The feel of the book and the look of the book is not what it was even 5 or 10 years ago. So, this idea that everything's great, that's very Marie Antoinette moment for CNN or MSNBC or whoever's pushing that.
Now, I want to get your sense on the State of the Union, not just like how do you think so-and-so did necessarily. It's more, I was in Boston. That was my first night in Boston visiting friends. And I was watching the State of the Union and the response by Alabama's own Katie Britt. I admit fully, I was very, very drunk. That's what you do when you're in town. You're not driving around and visiting old drinking buddies. And so I'm just kind of watching it like a dumb fan. I'll put it that way. And the next day I looked at the reactions, but as I'm looking at the reactions, I walked by the Boston Tea Party reenactments there in the Boston Harbor, and they throw the boxes, the tea crates over still, but there are ropes and tethers attached. So as soon as they throw it over, they immediately pull it back up again. And it hit me that, like, that's what the State of the Union seemed like. That's what the rebuttal seemed like. Seems like we're going through the motions, and at best it's kind of a charming thing that used to have volume and actual life to it. But now it just seems like all these theater moments in American politics, they just seem so shallow, so paper thin. You think I'm off base on this?
Yeah, it is theatrical because the pundits talk about it even before it happens. They sort of predict what will be in it, and then the speechwriters leak the text, and then, you know, you've got the canned response by the party out of power in the White House. And I would hate to think, Joey, that you are such a cheap date that all Senator Katie Britt has to do is come into the studio there and bat her eyelashes a few times, and all of a sudden you are watching the State of the Union response with, let's say, a less than impartial approach, Joey. I hope that is not the case.
Well, it took alcohol too.
But I mean, look, it is such a show. It's so obvious that you know, both parties are just absolutely not benign in their approach to this thing. Nobody's worried about the country. They're worried about the partisan spin on the evening. And so I'd really like to see a future president either dispense with it or just you know, shorten it. But at this point, it's just something that exists almost for the media, because I don't think the American people are really invested in it in the way that they were maybe when I was a kid.
Now, shifting gears, I don't think I've ever asked this question on air, and certainly not of you, Jeff. And in fact, I'm looking at a video with the sound off of, it looks like Sam Harris is guiding me through a meditation. Do you believe we have free will?
Well, I sure hope so, because we have a pretty big dividing line in this country between people who are in prison and people who are not in prison. And you know, most of us hope to stay out of prison. As far as I know, most of us hope that. And we put a lot of people in there because we assume that they made a conscious or deliberate choice to do something that, you know, made it so that they deserve to have landed in there. So if we don't, we're going to have to do an awful lot of rethinking, going back to, let's say, Plato and Socrates, because we've based an awful lot of our understanding of the human condition on the fact that we do have this. And look, you know, this is just where the relativism of the second half of the 20th century was going to get us in the 21st. The sort of the postmodern consensus that we don't really have much of a basis for truth claims. And if we don't have much of a basis for truth claims, then what's good and bad? And if we don't have to worry about good and bad, then what is it that people have as free will? We're just sort of animals. You know, I don't think a lot about my dog's free will. I guess he could just not chase the ball next time I threw it. But you know, certainly we don't judge you know, a pet and their actions in the same moral framework that we judge, you know, someone who's been put in prison. So when Sam Harris or any other sort of Twitter pseudo-intellectual, in my opinion anyway, you know, says that free will is an illusion, what they're trying to say is that I am so enlightened and so modern and so smart that I know more than Plato and Socrates knew. And that, you know, good luck running a society where nobody's responsible for their actions.
Yeah, and it seems to be affecting us in so many ways. Earlier, we played a clip of Tucker Carlson did an epic rant. Chris Cuomo didn't seem convinced, but about postmodern architecture. And just taking a visit to Boston, I noticed a lot of that. The new buildings are, let's say, bleak. And my buddy happens to be deep in that industry, say commercial real estate. And he said these things in big cities, Boston's not just the only one, these high rises are becoming ghost towns. I think we're in for a rude awakening here. It hasn't gotten better after COVID. And so if you've built this, 100-story thing that doesn't even look good, I mean, how's your city going to even last?
Well, the commercial real estate bubble, especially in major cities downtown, is going to be a slow but painful unfolding, because almost all of that commercial real estate has debt, has leverage that made it possible to be built or acquired by the current owner, and a lot of that debt is coming due. It's maturing, and so they'll be going out for new bank lending at higher interest rates. So a lot of what made the commercial real estate boom happen was that projects made sense with lower borrowing rates and also much higher occupancies before COVID. So you combine those two factors of having to refinance at higher interest rates and then having far fewer tenants paying. I mean, I was trying to recall, I was in Pittsburgh recently, a city I'm not particularly familiar with, but nonetheless, I was at a downtown city club at lunch on a weekday. And I mean, it was not good, Joey. There was not much life downtown, and you see all these buildings. A lot of them are sort of 20s and 30s. Pittsburgh's pretty interesting architecturally, and you just wonder how radical is this shift away from downtowns, and you can blame it on COVID, I suppose, but you can blame it on work from home. You can blame it on the internet. You can blame it on a lot of things, but there is, I think, a human desire to have that sort of village or downtown or place where we all meet and walk and have shared spaces. And so I think Tucker Carlson's onto something. It's not just the money, it's also the buildings themselves.
Yeah, and it's just, there were some old buildings that are beautiful, but it's just so much new is ugly and doesn't seem built to last. It's kind of built to fall down. And maybe that's our values, or maybe that is basement saver money. But something seems rotten at the core of everything, despite, I think everyday people are still trying to make ends meet. Something about our elite, I'll put it that way, that seemed pretty rotten.
Yeah, there's a disconnect. And again, this is larger than any time in my life. There's definitely a disconnect between the wealthiest people in society and everybody else. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's particularly capitalist. I think it's a result of the financialization of the economy, making some people richer than they otherwise would be in a true, sort of mom and pop free market, the way we like to think of it. And it's upsetting. There's I think Montgomery, Alabama is a good example of a place that it struggles to have, down by the Biscuit Stadium and some of the little restaurants and bars around there. It struggles to have more development. It struggles to have neighborhood feel. It struggles with a lot of things. And if you listen to the political rhetoric, if you watch what people are talking about, whether on Twitter and the Washington Post or after the State of the Union, or whatever, they're not talking about saving Montgomery, Alabama. They're talking about it just seems like there's a huge disconnect between the concerns of our elites and what's happening on the ground.
Again, folks, we've been talking to Jeff Deist. He is, the general counsel these days of Monetary Metals. You can follow him on Twitter at Jeff Deist, D-E-I-S-T. I'll leave you with this. If you had to recommend alternative voices out there that are online, they're doing commentary, they're doing interviews, who would you recommend to the audience who's trying to get off their addiction to cable news, let's say?
Well, it's tough because there's so much content out there now, so many things, social media followers, so many YouTube and Rumble videos, so many Substack writers. I mean, it's really, it's almost daunting to decide who you might want to spend your time with, because if you're also consuming mainstream media, I mean, it starts to be too much. There's a lot of people I like. I mean, I really like Dan McAdams and Ron Paul. They do a daily, what they call a Liberty Report at 11 Central on YouTube, which is live, but you can watch it later. And that's what's beautiful about it, because it's archived. You don't have to watch it at the time. So that's sort of my go-to. I get home at the end of the day, maybe 10 at night, I finally get around to watching the Liberty Report, which is usually about something topical, timely that day. So that's my number one recommendation off the top of my head.
Yeah, and I was going. I'll recommend a few. Tom Woods, Dave Smith. I guess they were just together recently on a show. Y'all look up Tom Woods, and he needs the help on YouTube.
Well, and of course, our friend Judge Napolitano.
Oh,
I
yes.
think his podcast is fantastic about world events, and it's also very short and digestible.
Well, I appreciate the time as always, Jeff. Let's get together sometime here in Montgomery or Auburn or something like that.
Okay, Eddie, Joey, thank you.
See you, brother.
Again, that's Jeff Deist,
Good dude.
good friend of the show, good dude, and I think very insightful fella. And a biting wit, too. Got to watch out.
He could be one you could add to your list of people to call.
Oh, if I need to be bailed out?
Just saying he's dependable.
Right.
Not just
Don't you
bailed out.
bat your eyes
Not
at me.
necessarily bailed out.
I saw what you're doing. Did you do your lashes today? Hey, we got to hit this break.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the river region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible. Collecting rent on time and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to do some views in the afternoon. 272-9228. That's 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. I'm Joey, he's Eddie.
Hey, Joey.
And, I'm just looking over 1819 News, see if anything new out there. And there's a great write-up by Daniel Taylor. Now, you heard Jeff Deist mention Senator Britt there.
Yeah.
The one part of the reaction to her that I just was like, really? Was over the whole idea of children and young girls but it's children in general being sex trafficked across the border, and how that was trying to be explained away because everything in partisan America can be explained away. We're all hypocrites, right? So you don't have to listen to the other guy. But Daniel Taylor has a story out. It's the top of the page there at 1819 News. Ghost kids. How unaccompanied migrant children get lost in Alabama. Daniel Taylor writes, as the criminal migrant crisis continues at the U.S. southern border, authorities have reported increasing encounters with unaccompanied children. By law, when a solo minor is apprehended crossing the border, they fall under the care of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which then places the child with a sponsor family somewhere in the United States. However, it's what happens next that has many concern with the child's well-being. Before I keep going about what happens next, I guess you can guess from the title Ghost Kids, how did an unaccompanied minor show up in the first place at the border?
After watching that documentary of just two young men that came over, they were literally white guys that they came over. I couldn't believe how many 5 to 7 to 9-year-olds were just in the group at the group's mercy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no one in the group's kids. And if it wasn't for a few people, those kids would have got left behind. That group really didn't care.
No. So let's talk about what happens next. They get to the border. We're not even going into the details of what might happen on the journey there, but they get to the border. Family Services of North Alabama Executive Director Sherry, I guess it's Hyatt, Hiett, said after a child is placed in a sponsor home, typically with a relative, if they can find one, little to nothing is done to keep track of their location or quality of care, which increases their risk of being mistreated or trafficked. Family Services is located in Marshall County, which has one of the highest populations of unaccompanied minors, second only to Jefferson County. Whenever a child is placed in Marshall County or in any county, only 6.7% of those children have an actual home study done before their place. So that in itself is a problem, Sherry Hyde said. They're not on DHR's radar.
No.
They're not on law enforcement's radar. They're placed in these homes. They get about 4 weeks of case management. After the 4 weeks of case management, they're kind of on their own with these sponsor families. The Office of Refugee Resettlement has placed over 700,000 unaccompanied minors in sponsor homes since it began its unaccompanied children program in 2003. After the Homeland Security Act of 2002 shifted the responsibility from the former Immigration and Naturalization Service. Since 2014, the ORR reportedly placed 11,585 migrant children in sponsor homes in Alabama, where the per-year number has seen a significant increase under the Biden administration, nearly at 192% increase over the last 3 years. The annual average of unaccompanied children placements for October 2014 to September 2020 was 728 versus 1,804. So essentially, long and short of it, because y'all aren't looking at a graph if you're out there on Radio Land listening, around 2021, the numbers shoot up. It's even higher in 22, comes down a little in 23, but it's still higher than 21. And we're not even into 24, like a few months. And it looks like it's going to break a record again.
Gonna keep going.
According to the Office of Refugee Resettlement, in fiscal year 2023, approximately 76% of all unaccompanied migrant children referred were over 14 years of age, and 61% were boys. Approximately 42% were from Guatemala, 28% from Honduras, 9% from El Salvador, 8% from Mexico, and 13% from other unspecified countries. Hyde said that, unlike traditional foster families, the sponsor homes receive no federal money to house the unaccompanied child immigrants. And though many of the families claim to be related, often that is not
it's not the case. You know that.
Hyde said it's common for these children, after their case management time has expired, to be unenrolled from school
Wonder why.
and virtually disappear. They might come in and say, hey, we're going to unenroll them. They're going back to Guatemala, or they're going to go to this other school or whatever, but there's no follow-up, and a lot of kids go missing. That's why they're called ghost kids. I had said that it's not always the case that these missing kids are being trafficked, but it remains a real concern. As a rape crisis center, Family Services already sees trafficking victims. That's not always happening, but it's not always happening either. The gap there is case management. The number of trafficking victims that we see most in familial trafficking, meaning kids are being rented out by their parents for a hit of drugs or a place to stay or whatever that looks like. She said drug addiction plays heavily into the problem, as Alabama's 4th Congressional District has one of the highest opioid prescription rates in the country. Labor trafficking is also a major concern, given the area's high concentration of Hispanic and Latino immigrants. There's kind of the perfect storm for our area. Marshall County's many chicken processing plants and other industries have made the area a magnet for immigrants, legal or otherwise. In particular, Wayne Farms in the heart of Albertville played a major role in the mass migration of Hispanics in the 1990s, forever changing that small town. More recently, a 2023 report by the New York Times told of how Farm Fresh Foods, a meatpacking plant in Gunnersville, often encountered migrant minors in the hiring process. One of their human resource managers, Charlene Irizarry, told the Times that the 2 young applicants would sometimes wear heavy makeup or face masks to hide their youth. Hyatt is currently applying for a grant to help provide more services and outreach to trafficked victims and to fund 2 full-time investigators in Marshall and DeKalb counties so local law enforcement can keep track of the sponsored kids. Marshall County Sheriff Phil Sims said he was unaware of how prevalent the issue was in the state, let alone his county, until an incident at a local school regarding a student's alleged uncle raised some quote-unquote red flags. Sheriff Sims discovered the uncle had 7 children in the system he was responsible for, all of whom were supposedly his nephews. This guy had 7 nephews in school, and we're like, no, that don't sound right, Sims said. I think in that case, everything's legit there. He's not really their uncle. He's just a sponsor. Sims said he hasn't seen any confirmed cases of child trafficking in his county, and he wants to keep it that way. I'm not saying that is what is going on. What I'm saying is we have no way of tracking these kids or being cared for. In foster care, there's a mechanism in place through DHR. In this instance, with undocumented children, there's no mechanism in place. It's an opportunity for human trafficking here. Sims referred to a recent sting operation where 5 suspects were arrested for attempting to meet an underage child. It's a problem everywhere. We focus on Marshall County because that's our jurisdiction, but the majority of those cases come from out of county and one from out of state, the sheriff said. That's typical when you start doing these sting operations. There were a lot more conversations and a lot more hits, just the people didn't show up. Sims said that he hopes to draw attention to this issue and eventually devote more manpower to trafficking and the children's well-being, tracking the children's well-being once they're placed with sponsors. Covenant Rescue Group, founded by U.S. Navy SEAL Jared Hudson, helped set up the sting in Marshall County as part of a training exercise. He said, regardless of what the current rate of child trafficking or assault is in Alabama, the risk is always highest among unaccompanied minors and those in poverty. A major part of the problem, Hudson said, is the federal government's reluctance to address the issue and, quote, an unwillingness to do the right thing at an administrative level. Hyatt said she too was tired of the political infighting surrounding the issue and that she and others on the front lines were being overwhelmed. This is not a red or blue issue. This is a child issue. We're not going to get involved in the political aspect of it because we're on the front lines dealing with the effects of these parties fighting. In December 2023, U.S. Senators Tommy Tuberville and Katie Britt signed a letter along with several other lawmakers demanding the Office of Refugee Resettlement enact stricter sponsor vetting processes. ORR does not even consider a sponsor's criminal record, current illegal drug use, history of abuse or neglect, or other child welfare concerns necessarily disqualifying to potential sponsorship. In effect, ORR accepts a sponsor's representation almost entirely on face value, the letter stated. In a press release issued on March the 1st, ORR said, quote, sponsors are required to undergo background checks and complete a sponsor assessment process that identifies risk factors and other potential safety concerns. However, not every sponsor receives a home study.
Couple questions.
Yeah.
And I know you don't know the answer. I'm just posing it out there.
Sure.
These people get paid for sponsoring these kids. When they take them out of school, where's that check go?
Right.
See, that's what really ticks me off. Oh, we don't have a clue. Yes, you do. The answers are in front of you. You just have to get out from that desk you got in front of you and go do some work. Somebody in here, they know, and it's a scam. It's an open scam. And why? Here's another thing. Why don't we just assume they're being trafficked? Because let's all be honest with each other. That's what's happening to probably 80% of these kids. Instead, we're sticking our head in the sand, hoping our leader is going to do something about it. All our leadership has done is screwed us. Now they've got a whole new generation of illegals that they can really screw over. Why are we looking for our leadership to fix this? I don't know. We need to be looking to elect new leaders. Hold these jerks accountable. That's all they're doing. And I don't care who it is. They're all, if you're not fighting it, then you're in on it. Why hasn't the governor of Alabama come out and said, hey, this is something happening in Alabama. We're going to take care of it. We're going to at least look into it. No, they put their head in the sands because everyone's making money off of it.
Well, I appreciate the write-up by Daniel Taylor. If you want to read this for yourself, again, it's at the top of the page there at 1819 News. Ghost Kids. Unaccompanied migrant children get lost in Alabama. 272-9228. Again, this part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings, and Josh and Leslie Ryder there just do fantastic work. Again, you are running out of time for the great 50% off sale they're doing there at Dylan Rings in celebration of Josh Ryder's 50th birthday. So you can get 50% off on 50% of the inventory there at Dylan Rings for 50% of the month of March. That means this thing's done on Saturday. They're also going to be closed there at Dylan Rings next week for some renovations, make the place look even better. It already is beautiful, but it could always be a little more beautiful. And of course, there at Dylan Rings, they are a full-service jewelry shop, from repairs to appraisals, spa treatments, resizings. They really do it all there at Dylan Rings. So check them out today. You can always go to DylanRings.com, but I really encourage you to stop by that showroom, 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. I always think of it where the old Fun Zone used to be. I can still see the platform.
Yeah.
It brings back memories when I was in high school.
Smelly kids.
Yeah, dude.
Tell you really opened up my world with that.
Yeah, they're not, like, especially when you got to strap kids into the rock wall or something.
A little sweaty.
Ugh. Hey, how about this? Let's go to Ray Bowles.
Okay.
From Prattville Carpet. We're doing it early for a reason, folks. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good, Josh. Let me start what I'm doing right now. I'm going to walk out back so I can concentrate.
Okay.
I got some exciting, something really fun we're going to do for the community.
Okay.
And this is for the community now. This is not a Prattville thing, a Montgomery thing, a Wetumpka thing. This is for everybody around us. Okay, so there was a food chain, Cowabunga, in Prattville,
Right.
that did a little contest for fun that was a cash cow. And if you were able to find the cow and turn it in, you received the prize. And they would give out a clue once every 3 days.
Okay.
Well, they're tired. They did this for 3 or 4 times, and they're exhausted. They're like, hey, they reached out to several businesses to see if anybody would pick it up. And I said, you know what? My girls love this thing. They are all about it. I call Morgan, she texts me at 10:30. Dad, I'm so-and-so. I'm like, go home before you get kidnapped. So we're going to pick this up.
Okay.
Morgan is going to run it. And the way this contest works, guys, is going to be like this. One clue every 3 days is going to be dropped.
Okay.
Either on our Facebook page or on our website. They're going to rotate back and forth. I'm not over this, so I don't know anything about it. I don't know where it is, so please don't ask me. The guys don't know. Nobody in the store knows. Now, one thing is if you work for Prattville Carpet or you are a family member of Prattville Carpet, unless you are Ray Bowles, you are disqualified from the contest.
Hold on. Ray Bowles, that's you, Ray. You can win the contest.
$5,000. I ought to have a shot at winning.
So go over
I don't know where it is.
go over the way the game works again. The clues are going to be dropped. How often and where?
Okay, on our Facebook page and on our website.
Okay.
We're going to drop one clue every 3 days.
Okay.
And the way the clue reads, it's a scripture verse.
Okay.
And you got it, and there's going to be something in that verse that relates to where that troll is. It's a little troll. Because I absolutely hate trolls, so we're doing the troll field, and we're calling it Mohawk money. And whoever finds it, we're going to give you $1,000.
So me and Joey
$1,000.
Are me and Joey eligible for this?
No,
just
Eddie.
checking.
Y'all are totally eligible.
Eddie,
what are you doing? Come on, Joey.
No, Eddie.
Yeah, I'm not talking a gift card to Prattville Carpet like you stuck by the floor. We're talking. I'm gonna write you a check to your name for $1,000.
Joey,
to make this really fun. Because let's face it, most 16-year-old kids don't want floors.
This is true.
It is what it is.
This is very true.
It is true.
And we're trying to do something for the community, for the entire community, to go out and have a really good time. I will tell you this: it will be in Prattville somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, that's the only hint I'm going to give you. It's going to be in this town somewhere, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this. So we'll be talking about it over the next few weeks. I would say if you're not on our Facebook page, go ahead and go over and hit that friend button.
Be a good idea.
And so that way you can get ready for it. It's going to start not this week, not Monday, but the following Monday is when we're going to start ours.
Okay.
All right.
Okay?
Well,
Not this coming Monday, but the following Monday.
and you still sell carpet and flooring too, right?
We do. So call us, 285-8117. Matter of fact, Dave Mills is sitting here right now dropping my rugs off. I sent off the half pound. I'm glad to see these.
Nice.
Again, folks, that
He does
number,
great work.
285-8117. And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray dropping hints on the radio. Great idea, Ray. I think this is awesome. Y'all
It's
taking
going
this
to be
up.
so much fun, y'all.
It is.
All right. Have a great day.
You too, Ray.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Wow.
Joey, it's $1,000.
Why don't you just
$1,000.
hold your horses?
You have that much money?
You're a child.
You could just turn away.
You're like little,
you're Donald Trump. all of a
little
sudden?
child. Should I get you a balloon? Little balloon
If
boy.
it's got $1,000 in it, yeah, give me that balloon. Preferably on 20s. A few fives.
You're a grown ass man. You can make your money a different way.
Or we can go find it. Just saying. We know it's within the city of Prattville.
No, this is for children.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
I missed that part.
Well, adults can play too, but it's like it's not for you.
He said specifically.
He was being nice.
He might have been.
We got to hit this break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. When you call the professionals at Clark with plumbing needs, you can count on quality service, flexible appointments, and affordable pricing. For more information, visit clarkcomfort.com. Better call Clark 277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Well, hi, everybody. One more nice dry day today before the storm system approaches that'll bring rain back into our forecast. Today, though, some high cloudiness, but a good bit of sunshine and warm for March with a high temperature up near 80. We're dry through the evening hours tonight, but the risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms begin in the overnight hours. Then rain and storms become more likely on Friday and Friday night. The front will stall, and that'll keep the risk of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms in the forecast Saturday with a better chance on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586 368, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, this is Randy and Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center.
Hey, Randy, tell me about those hot chicks I've been hearing about.
Now, Tammy, I don't know any since we got married.
No, Randy, the baby chick.
Oh, yeah, we're getting Rhode Island Reds, Americanas, Buff Orpingtons, and about 6 other different varieties.
Plus ducks, turkeys, geese, and guineas.
Hey, and raising chickens is a great family project.
And you get to look forward to fresh eggs.
Visit Prattville Farm Center at 1154 South Memorial Drive and pick up your hot chicks today.
It's a fact. Guys hate going to the doctor. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues, men from all over Montgomery have been thrilled seeing the providers at Montgomery Men's Health. Men all the way up to 95 years old have jump-started their sex drive and energy levels. Lots of men suffer with ED for years, but now they're able to enjoy sex again. Tom from Montgomery said, Montgomery Men's Health has changed my life. I have been able to be intimate with my wife for the first time in 5 years. She thought this problem was because of her, but the pills never worked for me. I had given up until I went to the clinic and realized there were more options for erectile dysfunction. Now I'm happy and my wife is happy. A visit for only $99, and that includes all testing, including a PSA and testosterone test. Give the guys at the clinic a call at 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
This is Matt Woodham with Woodham Southside Firestone. As a businessman, you need to watch your advertising dollar. We've been using Blue Water Broadcasting for many years. Blue Water Broadcasting is the biggest bang for your buck. Blue Water Broadcasting and Woodham Southside Firestone, great combination.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. They engineer their mowers to be maintenance and service friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel duct to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers deliver professional-grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. Why don't you stop by and see Deatsville Ace Hardware? See the Hustler difference for yourself today. Deatsville Ace Hardware on US 31 just north of Prattville, or Google Deatsville Ace Hardware for more information.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views. Only a few shopping minutes left before happy hour with Greg Pudell. And did we learn anything today?
Yeah, I learned some things about VA loans from our dear friend Madeline.
We learned about that.
I kind of schooled you guys on where the whole Randy thing came from. I think I overshared a little bit.
Hey, Randy. Randy.
And, that's really what I'm walking away with today.
We learned that Jeff Dice hopes we have free will.
I love Jeff.
Yeah, good guy.
He's a good guy and solid dude.
And he does not hesitate to call me out.
Well, I love that. That's another reason I love the guy.
I'm nice to everybody, man. Because if you read my writing in particular, I'm kind of like saying we're all screwed.
Yeah.
So I have to be nice to people individually.
Whatever makes you feel better, Joey. Okay.
No, seriously, come on. I think it's funny.
Okay. I'll go with you on that. It's humorous. It's a tale of two Joeys.
Yeah, one thing it is a lot of fun actually. Like these politicians, bunch of corrupt bastards. Hey, how you doing?
Right. Man, I really like him. Democrat.
Well, you got to remember they're people too, man. Like everybody's got that side of them.
That's the big disconnect that I see. I mean, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or whatever. When you sit down with someone and accept them as a person, those kind of labels go out. Now, you still could disagree.
Oh yeah,
but you know what?
And
I don't go that dumb Democrat. He's got Democrat thinking, or she's got Republican thinking. So I just think, man, that person doesn't think like me, and it's not so bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. Now, if they try to implement some of their stuff around me, I have an issue with that.
Might raise a little hell.
Right. But
now, one thing we learned today, and we'll see if it's true in the coming days, but we haven't talked about it on air yet.
No.
RFK Jr. He's got to pick a vice presidential candidate.
Oh, that's right.
A running mate.
That's right. That's right.
And the word is he's going with the former Green Bay Packers. I guess he had what? He didn't even play for the Jets. He was on the Jets, but he got hurt, right?
For like a day. Yeah.
Yeah. But Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And like Aaron Rodgers came out today with this big statement on the Sandy Hook shooting, how he believes it's real. It was a tragedy. Anybody suggests he said anything otherwise is just lying and about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it sounds like a guy is about to be picked to be vice president.
I forget who his name, Pat something McAfee or something. Used to be a kicker. He's got a great show.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one who said, called Aaron and said, hey, they want to pick you for VP. And Aaron's like, oh, I'm in the middle of an ayahuasca trip right now. Call me back later. He let it out. Pat let it out on his show. He's like, when I told him, he said, I'm in the middle of an ayahuasca trip. We'll talk later.
Wow. So, well, RFK Jr. has done every drug under the sun.
That's what I'm wondering. Is that part of the process of how he vets his VPs? I need you to go do ayahuasca.
No, I think it's a good policy. Every person running for president, vice president has to go to Peru, be one with the goddess, and get to know themselves better.
There's the low budget one now that they do in California, where they bring Peru to California. They're running into some problems, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, there is this old clip. I think it's of Gore Vidal talking to who was the governor of Moonbeam, the California guy, Jerry something.
Oh, yes. Oh crap. Jerry had a nice tan. Cannot think of his name. I want to say Jerry Brown, but it's not Jerry Brown.
No, it's Jerry Brown.
It is?
Yeah.
I just remember his tan.
And I think Jerry Brown and Vidal were both running for Senate.
Okay.
And Vidal's just running to make a statement he didn't expect to win. And he at one debate, he's like, Jerry, you need to take a sabbatical, go to India or something, get to know yourself and the world a little better. And Jerry Brown did that.
Oh, wow.
And he came back and became governor. So
well, there you go.
Maybe there's something to this, but that's California.
Wow.
So, I guess in Alabama, it'd be like, you need to take some time off, do some hunting, do some fishing. You're right.
Do a little noodling.
Right. Read the good book.
Right.
Then you can run.
Then you can run.
Yeah.
That's about right, I think, Joey.
And on that note, that odd note, we got to hit this break.
All right.
Because happy hour, well, they're up next. Y'all stay tuned. Greg and Rosie should be having some fun.
That's right.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM.